Yeah, so, Shabbat Shalom, Hag Shemiag, Yom Teruah, Mishpacha. It is a very joyous day, but it is also, unfortunately, a sorrowful day with the loss of our dear brother, Jackson Snyder. And, it was really devastating for me to hear that he had passed. And, I just want to be able to honor the work that he did for, trying to bring us all together and all the work that he's done for the kingdom of Yahuah. And, we didn't always see eye to eye or agree about everything, but I respected him gratefully. And I appreciate, him allowing everybody the opportunity to present their findings about the calendar. And, it brings to mind, the next day isn't always promised for any of us. And it shows the importance of needing to come together in love and compassion and humbleness, no matter what our differences are. And just having that love for each other and just setting aside the differences for love. We all have our foundation in scriptures, and we can all see different things differently. And this is actually why it's important we should all come together and just be able to reason together in love. And if we don't agree, that's fine. It doesn't mean we aren't family, I don't agree with my family and they don't agree with me, but we're still family. And it should be even more so here with our mishpacha, our family in Messiah. And, I just really wanted to point and stress this very important point. It's just about love, humbleness, and coming together in what the word says. And, none of us are right, but it's Yahuah that's right. And that 100% is really all that matters to me, truly. But
Yes, and
yes,
as far as love goes, I believe it's the highest frequency that us in human flesh can attain. And frequencies are so basic.
yeah. And that goes back to, it's the word of Yahuah. Like our words, they create these frequencies and cymatics. So, the word of Yahuah is the frequency of love and life. And that is what brought us all here, and it's just very important.
Yes, exactly.
And, I've been reaching out to everybody to make amends if, there was any differences that we were separated or divided over, I just want to make amends. I reached out to several people and, we were able to make amends and just, forgive each other and apologize to each other. And it's really making me feel a whole lot better. And it just wants me to give more praise to the Father because, without him, none of us would know anything truly.
Well, that's
But yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
And, scripture says, don't let that night pass without first, going to your brother and making amends. And it's just all the struggles everybody's been going through the last few months. And I believe it's because time is very short and the enemy is enraged knowing time is very short. So he's trying to divide the body as much as possible before time is up. And, we have to do everything we can to come together and pray against it, pray against the enemy, fast, all these things. And we can only do it if we are together, because the enemy's plan is to divide and conquer, because it's easier to pick off one at a time than it is to take on, 1 million people at once, for example. But yes, Hag Shemiag, Yom Teruah, and Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom, Kayleen. Glad you can make it. And today, I wanted to share and read just some scriptures about Yom Teruah.
Okay, that sounds good.
Awesome. Let me just pull some of them up here. I should have prepared better before starting, but it's okay. So here we go. Hold on one sec. So let me get the proper translation. And then so I'm screen sharing from my phone today. So let's see. Are you guys able to see my screen there?
Yeah, but you're out of focus.
Huh. Okay, let me just switch to my computer real quick. One sec. It's probably easier from my computer anyway. All right, give me just a moment here. Let me get all these verses up on screen for everybody. Okay, so actually we're going to start here in Numbers 29. And this will be from the ISR 1998 edition. And just some verses about Yom Teruah. So here, we'll start just right here. Numbers 29, starting in verse 1. And in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you are to have a set-apart gathering. You do no servile work. It is a day of blowing the trumpets for you. And you shall prepare a burnt offering as a sweet fragrance to Yahuah. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 lambs a year old, perfect ones. And their grain offering, fine flour mixed with oil, and 3/10 of an ephah for the bull, and 2/10 for the ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs, and 1 male goat as a sin offering, to make atonement for you. Besides the burnt offering with its grain offering for the head of the month, the continual burnt offering with its grain offering and their drink offerings, according to their right ruling, as a sweet fragrance, an offering made by fire to Yahuah. All right, so I know there is definitely more verses for this, and we're going to go look into them. So we also have Leviticus 23 through 25 here. And Yahuah also said to Moshe, "Speak to the Israelites and say, on the first day of the 7th month, you are to have a day of rest, a sacred assembly announced by the trumpet blast. And you must not do any regular work, but you are to present a food offering to Yahuah." And then we also have Nehemiah right here. I believe this is about, Nehemiah 8, verses 1 through 12. "And at that time, all the people gathered together in the square before the water gate. And they asked Ezra the scribe to bring out the book of the law of Moshe, which Yahuah had commanded for Israel. And on the first day of the 7th month, Ezra the priest brought the law, the Torah, before the assembly of men and women, and all who could listen and understand. So Ezra read it aloud from daybreak until noon, as he faced the square before the water gate, in front of the men and women and those who could understand. And all the people listened attentively to the book of the law." Praise Yahuah. And let's find some more here about... So these ones are just about trumpets themselves, but not the day of trumpets or Yom Teruah. Now, we do have Psalms 81:3, which is not about this, but sound the ram's horn at the head of the month, and at the full moon on the day of our fest. Let's see. I know there's definitely, if anybody has any other verses they'd like to add, feel free. Let's see. Yeah, it's, Yom Teruah, it's a very important day. It's one of Yahuwah's set apart festivals that, we should be honoring. And I know, the church likes to say all these things have been done away with. There's certain sects, even in the Torah community, that say we shouldn't be observing these things. Well, none of those is true, unfortunately. We should be observing every one of Yahuwah's festivals, and it's a commandment to do so. It's actually part of the commands to observe these special days, and they're set apart to Yahuwah, and it's a mark and a sign of his people to be observing these things. And I just believe it's very important.
And also being a dress rehearsal for the end.
Yeah, you're very right. It is a dress rehearsal, because these things are going to be practiced, even in the new kingdom. So yeah, very good point, brother. It's a dress rehearsal. Interesting. I clicked on this link to try to bring it up, but something has happened. My computer seems to not want to work. There we go. Oops, it didn't bring up all the... It's okay. I'm just glad we are here. We can gather and fellowship. even for just a short time, hold on, let me stop sharing there. But it's very important to come together in Yahuah, despite whatever differences that we have. It's just very important we come together and we love each other. And it's been a really rough past few months for me, and I know it has been for a lot of people as well. But this week, with being able to make amends with so many people, and it's still happening, and all praise to the Most High, Yahuah. And it's truly in Him that we should all be coming together and gathering. And did anybody have, a shofar they would like to blow? Or I'm about to blow one right now. All praise to the Most High. Let's see if, what can I find here? Because I did want to go over some more things. It's just with the heaviness of my heart over Jackson passing, it was hard to concentrate, And, I'm especially lifting his family and his wife up in prayers. And all those who witnessed it during the live stream, I'm definitely lifting up in prayers. And I wanted to thank all them for their prayers as well for him. And I did hear somebody the other day, I forget what fellowship it was I was watching, but they were saying it was supposed to be a silver trumpet or something like that. I was wondering if anybody here has heard anything about that or knows any more information about that as well.
Yeah, Numbers 10, it makes clear about the silver trumpet, and we tend to go take Psalm 83, 80, whatever it is. We tend to take that one, and because that one says shofar, we do the shofar across the board. But the priests use those two silver trumpets to let the king know that something was going on. And I think if you dig into it further, you'll find the accuracy of that.
Yeah, absolutely. We can just read it now, actually. So yeah, Numbers 10, starting in verse 1. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Make 2 silver trumpets for yourself, and make them of beaten work. And you shall use them for calling the congregation and for breaking camp. And when they blow both of them, all the congregation shall meet before you at the door of the tent of meeting. And if they blow one, then the leaders, the heads of the thousands of Israel, shall gather you. Interesting. The heads of the thousands. Just like the heads of the thousands of the stars Enoch mentions. And when you blow a shout, the camps that lie on the east side shall depart. And when you blow a shout the second time, the camps that lie on the south side shall depart. They blow out a shout for them to depart. And when the assembly is assembled, you blow, but do not shout. And the sons of Aaron, the priests, blow with trumpets. And it shall be for you a law forever throughout your generations. And when you go into battle, and when you go into battle in your land against the enemy that distresses you, then you shall shout with trumpets. And you shall be remembered before Yahuah your Elohim, and you shall be saved from your enemies. And in the day of your gladness, and in your appointed times, and at the beginning of your months, you shall blow a trumpet over your burnt offerings and over your peace offerings, and they shall be remembered, a remembrance for you before your Elohim. I am Yahuah, your Elohim. I find that really interesting right here. It actually says at the beginning of your months. Let's go see what
That's right. And it's Rosh Chodesh, if I remember.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, actually that's what I was just gonna go look up.
Verify it for
beginning.
me, eh?
Yeah. So yeah,
Got it wrong, correct me.
yeah, Resh Hadashim, the head of the months. Rosh Hadashim. That's exactly what it says here. Wow.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yah. They didn't
We're
actually
gonna have
translate
a
it to...
silver trumpet, maybe, huh?
Yeah, I know, right? I don't have any kind of trumpet at all. I just have shofars. So yeah, no, definitely have
But of
to...
course, we don't have the head of thousands either. They're not in any
That's true.
enchantment, so there might be a little bit of leeway on that.
That is true. We don't have the Levite priests and the heads of the thousands who know exactly what to do, how to do it, and when to do it to tell us. We can only study into his word. Here, let's continue here. Numbers 10, verse 11. And it came to be on the 20th day of the second month in the second year that the cloud was taken above the dwelling place of the witness. And the children of Israel departed, setting out from the wilderness of Sinai, and the cloud dwelt on it, in the wilderness of Paran. They departed the first time according to the command of Yahuah by the hand of Moshe. And the banner of the camp of the children of Yehudah departed first according to their divisions, and over their army was Nishan, son of Amminadab. Yeah. So this is when they were, departing for the first time out of the wilderness of Sinai. Amazing. Hey, Shalom. Is that, which calendar is that? I know it looks very familiar that you just shared in chat. Is it Libby's calendar? Oh, I guess they're not in here listening. Sorry. And then there is, let's see. Hold on one second. Here it is. I wanted to play just a little bit of this as well. It's, just the sound of the shofar blowing for deliverance. I'm not going to play the whole 30 minutes of it, but perhaps just a couple minutes. This is the same, excuse me. It's the same I was sharing when our fellowship started here. But I just wanted to share a few minutes of it, and I think it's a really beautiful sound. I can only pray to Yahuah to be that good at blowing the shofar one day. And here, if you guys would like to listen as well, I'll share it here in the chat. But yeah, I didn't have a whole lot I wanted to go over today. I just wanted to, have our fellowship for our, gathering for Yom Teruah. I wanted to, just send out my condolences and my prayers to Jackson Snyder's wife and his family and his friends. And I'm definitely praying for them. And, Yahuah has them. Everything is all on Yahuah's timing. And things happen for a reason. And, his last words were actually really, inspiring and motivating, and, makes me want to reflect back as well. And I will just repeat them here, and because it is a solid message that he shared. And he did do a lot to try to bring everybody together through all the differences. And so he says, wake up, all who are asleep. Remember Yahuah Elohim, your creator, instead of worthless time wasters. Consider remolding yourself into a better and more useful servant. And that makes me reflect and really take that to heart. And I've been praying and considering about, picking up the torch basically where he left off, and having others come on our platform to be able to present their findings in the calendar as well. Even though we may have differences or we may not agree, I think it's important. We should all be coming together regardless.
Yeah, Jeremy, that'd be awesome if you could do that. Sure.
Yeah. I was definitely thinking about that and considering that and praying over it. And I think it would be a good idea, and it would help us all be able to come together prayerfully and, just not divide over these small differences we have, especially in our own, Zadok community. And thank you for sharing, Sister Mary. Here, I'll actually type that because I don't see her here in the chat. But yeah, he was a good brother. I had a lot of respect for him. We've had conversations back and forth through email. And, he was very respectable and humble. He definitely had his opinions and things like that, and we had our differences, but regardless of that, I definitely respected him, and I appreciated him just having everybody he had on for all his calendar presentations. And it wasn't just one point of view, and he wasn't biased about anybody. He welcomed all on who wanted to present what they had found, And I really respect that. Yeah. What Sister Mary shared here is Leviticus 23:24. Says, "Blow a trumpet or shofar. Pray for the Jays and the Arabs, attending to Joshua generation." Oh, sorry, that's only a small screenshot. So pray for Israel and everybody, honestly. And yes, definitely praying for Jackson Snyder's family and his friends for sure. But it is a joyous occasion today. I pray everybody has had a blessed Yom Teruah so far. And I am glad we have all come together for this great festival to Yahuah. I did want to share a teaching, though. And I know it's not my personal teaching or anything, but let me see if I can find it here. Okay, here. So, again, this is going to be it's the Olive Branch Fellowship. I don't know if anybody else has heard of them, but I'll share the video here in chat. And then I wanted to share it because this brother actually has a lot of great information. And again, I don't agree with absolutely everything that he shares, but he does have amazing information and insight. And he goes pretty deep into, things like Yom Teruah here, many other subjects as well. So,
yeah, I do have friends, fellow Nazarene who do follow them, yes.
Well, I will be lifting them up in prayers. Absolutely, my brother. Give me 1 second here. Trying to get to the part after the music. There we go. All right, so let me just go ahead and share this, and then I will mute my mic. And yeah, it's a really good teaching.
Okay, everyone. Well, today is a high Shabbat. Today is Yom Teruah, and I didn't plan for it to actually land so that the teaching of the Feast of Trumpets would land on Feast of Trumpets. It just kind of worked out. I'll take that as a sign from Elohim that he's the great optimizer and doing things in his timing. Again, we've been kind of revisiting some of the basics things in regards to the Moedim, mainly because of a lot of new people coming in, and so that once we go through this series, you know how to keep it, what to do, you know why you keep it, and for some of us that have been maybe doing this a bit longer, it's always really good to revisit these things and see them with fresh eyes. Now, Yom Teruah, this falls as part of the fall Moedim, or as we would say here in the UK, autumnal Moedim, although it doesn't have the same ring. So with the spring Moedim, the spring appointed times, hopefully this came through in the earlier parts, but these have been fulfilled, so these have now become remembrances. And as we've seen from Leviticus 23 and many other places, that these things are to be done throughout your generations within the house of Israel. So just because something has been fulfilled does not mean it's done away with or that it's no longer valid. It's actually a remembrance. These things are now live in action, right? And those of you who've seen my biblical prophecy series will probably actually see that Yah works through his appointed times, even those that have been quote unquote fulfilled. You know, go watch the series for that statement to make sense. So now we're looking at the fall Moedim, and these are the ones that we're waiting to be fulfilled. Okay, Messiah fulfilled the spring Moedim at his first coming in 1 year, sequentially, one after the other, literally. And we're waiting for him to do the same thing with the fall Moedim now. Fulfill them literally, sequentially, all in 1 year. Okay? So, let's start looking at Yom Teruah, which means, because of the nature of these fall Moedim, I can't show you the fulfillment. That's already happened. But I will point to what we're expecting to be fulfilled, if that makes sense. This is what we're looking forward to. So, Leviticus 23:23, and Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th new moon, on the first day of the new moon, you have a rest, a remembrance of Teruah, a set-apart gathering." Depending on your translation, it will say trumpets, blasts, shouts. This is just how the ISR puts it. They've got the actual, the Hebrew there. So this is why we're here today. We're honoring this, okay? But as I've been doing throughout the series, let's understand why we're here rather than just ticking the box. "You do no servile work, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yah." So again, this is considered a Sabbath, okay? Now, I just want to throw this in there. On the first day of the new moon, which means this is New Moon Day. This is why this is known as the feast, that no man knows the day nor the hour. Because when does the new moon occur? Right, do you know exactly when it will be, is the point I'm trying to make. You always have a 2-day window, that it can happen on. Because a lunar month is always 29 or 30 days. Always. It doesn't change. But we never know when that is. So you're forced to watch. Okay? Now this should be interesting in light of what Messiah says. Watch therefore. Watch. We're told to be watchmen. We're to watch the signs in the heavens that he's given us. But just so you're aware of this is known as the feast. No one knows the day nor the hour, because it could land on one of 2 days, which should really bring up some interesting passages in your mind. The word teruah. So you shall have a remembrance of teruah. Alarm, signal, tempest, sound of tempest, shout or blast of war, or alarm or joy. It's not just trumpets. It's not just shofars. It's just loud noises in general. It could be for alarm of war, so it's got this warlike thing, like a theme to it, but shouts of joy as well, like we were singing earlier. So it's just loud noise. But this thing of calling to attention. The other dictionary puts clamour, the acclamation of joy or a battle cry, clangor of trumpets as an alarm. So again, this idea of, wake up from your slumber. And we're going to see these themes play out. Now, it's said that this should be a remembrance, okay? The word used for remembrance is zikron, okay? A memorial, a reminder, a remembrance. Now, here's the funny part. It doesn't tell you what to remember. Nowhere in Scripture, in plain Hebrew, I can't say plain English, but there are hints, okay? And today I'm going to bring one of these hints through, which I believe the Father's asking us to remember. But it's interesting, sometimes things are conspicuous just by their absence. So he's saying, have a remembrance of Zikron, and he doesn't tell you outright what to remember. But it's there, okay, as we will see. So we're going to look at some passages with the theme of shouts, with trumpet blasts, with that kind of thing to it. And we'll see what thematic connections we can bring to the table so we know what to remember. In 1 Chronicles 15, verse 27, this is David bringing the ark up to Jerusalem, okay? And David was dressed in a robe of fine linen, which is really interesting because here you have a typology of a king wearing priestly garb. Okay, so king, priest, okay, think Messiah type and shadow. As were all the Levites who bore the ark and the singers, and Kenaniah, the leader of the service with the singers. And David wore a linen shoulder garment, or an ephod, actually, which is again like a priest would have worn one of these, a high priest. So you get a really beautiful type and shadow of Messiah, and it actually seems to point more to the Day of Atonement, because he's only wearing linen. Right? What did the high priest wear on the Day of Atonement when he did his rituals? We'll cover this in a couple of days, but he wore just linen. He didn't wear his usual high priest, the garments of glory, as they're called. So all Yisrael brought up the Ark of the Covenant of Yah with shouting and with the voice of a shofar, with trumpets and with cymbals sounding, harps and lyres. Now, what does the Ark of the Covenant represent? Man's heart. I was looking for a less deep meaning. It's the throne of Elohim. It's his throne. So you have this typology here of, you could say, intimacy. They're bringing the ark to its restful place. That, and this is, so you have this link with intimacy, communion with Elohim, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I found that interesting because you have this type and shadow of Messiah. This is the incident where his wife had a go at him for dancing. It's that incident. But notice here that, again, why do I say intimacy? Because when was the only time the Ark of the Covenant would be seen by someone? Day of Atonement. So here, people are actually witnessing. They're able to see the Ark, aren't they? Which is very interesting. They're able to see a set-apart object. It would have been covered, granted, with the blue cloth. But this would have probably been the only time someone outside of the priesthood would have been able to see the outline of it, which is a really interesting thing here. And this is linked with shofars, with trumpets, with shouting, and lots of sacrifices, right? Every 6 steps, it's that event. Let's keep going. I want to read Exodus 19. The giving of the Torah. Now, what day on the festal calendar did the giving of the Torah occur on? On Shavuot. But there's actually an allusion to Feast of Trumpets as well, and we'll see why that is. Moshe went up to Elohim, and Yah called to him from the mountain, saying, "This is what you are to say to the house of Yaakov, and declare to the children of Israel. You have seen what I did to the Mitzrites, to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. And now, if you diligently obey my voice and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasured possession above all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set-apart nation." Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Israel. Now, let me ask this. Has verse 6 ever been fulfilled? It hasn't. Has it? Never have we been a nation of priests? Has the house of, our forefathers dropped the ball on this pretty bad. This has never happened. So this is actually, I believe, a prophecy. Now think of what some of the fulfillments in Revelation are. Yeah. But that's yet to occur. It still hasn't happened. Bear that in the back of your mind. And Yah said to Moshe, "See, I am coming to you in the thick cloud, so that the people hear when I speak with you and believe you forever." And Moshe reported the words to Yah, the words of the people to Yah. And Yah said to Moshe, "Go to the people, set them apart today and tomorrow, and they shall wash their garments." So think like they're about to meet with the king, right? Yah's about to descend on earth, and he says, "Wash your garments. And be prepared by the 3rd day." We'll look at this later on. "For on the 3rd day Yah shall come down upon Mount Sinai and before all the eyes of all the people." And Moshe came down from the mountain to the people and set the people apart, and they washed their garments. Now, what's Moses what does he point to? What document should I say? Torah. So when Yeshua says, go and hear Moses, he's saying, hear the Torah. So it's interesting that Torah comes to Moshe, the teacher of Torah. They call him Moshe Rabbeinu in Judaism. Moshe, our rabbi. He teaches Torah, and so that's included in the setting of the people apart and the washing of the garments. Okay, and again, what's the covenant founded upon? And he said to the people, "Be prepared by the 3rd day. Do not come near a wife." Okay? I believe there's an allusion here to, is there a spiritual woman, the seductress about? So he said, think of the typology. We'll deal with this a bit more because we're going to circle back to this, okay, to this event. "And it came to be on the 3rd day in the morning that there were thunders, lightnings, and a thick cloud on the mountain, and the voice of a shofar was very strong, and all the people who were in the camp trembled." Now, it was widely understood that this was a heavenly shofar. It wasn't from the people, and we'll see why. "And Moshe brought the people out of the camp to meet Elohim, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. And Mount Sinai was in smoke, all of it, because Yah had descended upon it in fire." So this is a physical manifestation of Elohim. And remember, this is happening on Shavuot. "And its smoke went up like the smoke of a furnace, and all the mountain trembled exceedingly. And when a voice of the shofar sounded long and became very strong, Moshe spoke, and Elohim answered him by voice." Now, when we were just blowing the shofar earlier, it comes out strong, but does it get stronger? No, we run out of breath, don't we? If we're not great at it. Here, this shofar, it sounded long and it increased in volume. It got louder. So this is one of the reasons they say this is actually a heavenly shofar. Interesting. So the children of Israel were commanded to have a remembrance of shouts and shofars. Let's go back to the commandment of you shall have a remembrance of blowing, of teruah. Well, what are you going to think of if you're an Israelite that's just witnessed this event? When's the last time you've heard a shofar? You'd be brought back to Mount Sinai, i.e. the Shavuot event, because that's what you have in your recent memory. For the Israelites, I believe this would have reminded them of the Mount Sinai event. So now you have to ask yourself the question, why were the children of Israel being asked to remember an event that pointed to the giving of the covenant and of Elohim descending from heaven to earth? Like, why does he want, people don't ask themselves, why is Elohim commanding me this? And I don't mean in a way of challenging his authority. I mean this of knowing why. So why would Elohim command this? So let's add some thematic connections to the blowing of trumpets. Cry aloud. So this is Isaiah 58. Cry aloud. Again, a shout right there. Do not spare. Lift up your voice like the shofar. Declare to my people their transgression and the house of Yaakov their sins. So the call to repentance. Yet they seek me day by day, and they delight to know my ways. So you can say they're knowledge driven. They're like the ear tickling, right? Knowledge puffs up. As a nation that did righteousness and did not forsake the right ruling of their Elohim. They ask of me rulings of righteousness. They delight in drawing near to Elohim. So they're not even worshipping the wrong God. He's saying, look, they want to hear my voice. They want to know my ways and all of this. They say, why have we fasted and you have not seen? Why have we afflicted our beings and you took no note? Look, in the day of your fasting, you find pleasure and you drive on all your laborers. So he's exposing their hypocrisy, right? They're putting their faith in the flesh. They're like, look, I've fasted, I've humbled myself, I've ticked the box. And Elohim's saying, you guys need to repent. You guys need to repent. And look, they delight to know my ways. I believe verse 2, this passage, you're seeing it in the Torah movement. People that are so knowledge driven, and I'm not knocking obedience to the Torah, but as we're going to see, what's the reason for it? So you have a call to repentance from worshipping him in vain. They're worshipping Elohim. They want to know the Hebrew to this and the Greek to that, right? Why have we fasted? Look at all the boxes we've ticked. This is a call to repentance from worshipping him in vain, i.e. hypocrisy, which should link us to Matthew 15 and Isaiah 29. Matthew 15 or Mark chapter 7 is the more common one. You know, when the Pharisees say to Yeshua, why do your disciples not eat bread with washed hands? And what does he say? Well, do you lay aside the commandments of Elohim to keep your traditions? And then he quotes Isaiah 29, that these people, they seek to know me in that, but their love for me has become the teachings of men, their traditions. And the result of that is that Elohim pours the spirit of deep sleep over them. He says, you know what? You're going to be hypocrites in honoring me. You're going to have the spirit of deep sleep. Which is interesting because in Revelation we're told to hear what the Spirit has to say to the assemblies.
All right. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that little bit for everybody. He does have really great information, and he makes a lot of deep connections, and I think he does a really great job at some of the presenting that he does. Of course, I don't agree with some of the things that he says, like about the new moon and all that, but, that's fine. He still has great information. But yeah, Shalom.
Who is this, Jeremy?
This is, I think his name's Michael, but it's the Olive Branch Fellowship. I shared the link in the chat there earlier.
Okay, I just popped on and saw that there was a join button, so.
Yeah, no worries.
I thought I'd jump in here and let you correct me.
Well, Shabbat Shalom and Hag Shemag Yom Teruah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, no, we're just having our Yom Teruah.
I was looking at my dial. I just came in. It looks like we are 2 to 3 days out on a vernal.
Yeah, with Sister Aaron's video there, what she was
Uh-huh.
saying.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
pretty
I'm
interesting stuff.
getting the same readings. I'm kind of where she's at as far as her readings. So, yeah.
So she got it the 16th,
No, no, no,
correct?
no. 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 No, she's saying she put that out and she's starting on the 16th and she's coming out with one every day to show you where it's at. She was letting you know that
Oh,
no, it's not there yet. Yeah.
one second. Let me
Yeah, you have to
actually
go
find
back
that.
and lock up. It's not that long. Probably about a minute.
Yeah,
About
no,
2
I
minutes.
watched it earlier.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, let me actually. I can probably go ahead and play it here real quick because yeah, it's only like what 2 minutes long.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, actually, it's 4 minutes long. Sorry. Here, let me. Here, I'll just go ahead and play it real quick so everybody can see. All right, and then I'll share the video link here in chat. Well, actually, Lee already did. Here, I'll just share it again. It's fine.
Oh, did you already share it? I didn't know you did.
No, you shared it, but I'm sharing it again here. So,
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah. So yeah, it's only 4 minutes here. I'll go ahead and play it.
Shalom, shalom. Today is September 16th, and we have the fall equinox coming up here in not too many more days. And so I'm out here with the armillary. We're not going to mark the table this year, because it just takes a lot of time, and we've got a lot of things going on right now. But I did want to pull the armillary out because I'm getting a lot of questions about how to use it. And the nice thing with the armillary is you don't have to be out here all day long making little dots on a table. You can check the first rays of morning sun and midday. Midday's kind of important for the armillary. And so it's my midday here. And what the armillary is telling me, you can see, I mean, we're getting close. And so the line is getting pretty straight at midday. But if you can see, there's still less space here than there is here. So this is telling me that it's still curving downwards. Let me get out of this shadow. You can see on this side. So if I was to be making dots all day on my table, we would have a downward lines today. And that's what the armillary is showing me. Just because of the space, because on the equinox, this line will be just dead set in the middle. So we have still a downward curve telling me the sun is still in the north and we haven't quite made that equal day yet. So I'm going to come out, weather permitting, the next few days and show how the armillary is going to change, how this line will change. It's kind of windy today, so I had a hard time setting up my angle. I'm pretty close. Usually we like to have it at about 38.3, so I'm just off a little bit, but it's windy out here today. So just getting it set up, show you what we're going to do and how you read your armillary. Really simple to make these. You get the big embroidery hoop, cut one in half, and make sure you just line it all up in the middle. Put the big hoop around it to hold it all in. Now, on my video, I talk about using an embroidery hoop stand, which is nice and convenient. This is just some leftover hardware I had that I made this stand out of. So this was kind of my prototype, working it out on how to put it together. So that's what we're doing for the fall equinox, not doing the table, but just checking the armillary every day. And here we are on the 16th, and we can see, like I said, that the line is still pointing down, meaning the sun is still to the north. All right, we'll check with you tomorrow. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And I know she does have a video on how to make this armillary, actually. Let me see if I can find that for those of you who are interested. Let me see. I think it's in this playlist.
I did upload those plans. It's real easy. Cut it out.
Oh, you uploaded plans?
Yeah, I uploaded plans how to make one. Remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's easy. You just print those pages out, and you can just cut those out and draw lines around your pieces of wood and cut it out, and then piece them
Yeah.
together. It's not hard.
Well,
Maybe
here, I will share.
bandsaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, get you some thick enough wood, because when you're cutting it out, you're doing the flat side, but when you turn it up, you're going to have the thickness of your wood there. So I made one out of
Yeah.
metal. I just uploaded my reading just a minute ago. I'll be going out here in about 15, 20 minutes, and it'll be solar noon here.
Awesome. Yeah, let us
So it looks like I'm
keep us
couple of days-
updated.
Looks like I'm a couple of days out as far as that goes. I did talk to Christina this morning. She's got some interesting ways of looking at things. She thinks the Great Tribulation will begin on unleavened bread next year. Is how she's worked it out. Man, I do believe if you don't put the priestly order on the calendar, you're going to mess up.
Yeah.
The priest have to line up.
Yeah, that's why I am very interested in Ezekiel's Keys information, because they have the pre-C courses all lined up with everything.
They do. And I think the tabernacle is important also. And Andy's on a moon calendar, and I know everybody knows that, and I made that
Yeah.
attention to Ezekiel's Key. But me and Christina both agree, and I know this too. Andy's in a lot of pride, and he won't share some things, and I don't agree with him on that. I think freely you have received, freely give. You don't hold back information, especially at this point in time, for the body of Messiah, because what he gives you, he will strip you of it if you don't give it out. It's given to you for the body of Mashiach, so. But he holds back on a lot of information, because a lot of information he shared with me that was never brought up.
Yeah. And, I love all his work and everything he's found.
Yeah.
Truly, I do.
Oh, yeah. Great brother.
Yeah.
But,
I definitely would disagree.
Calendar,
Yeah.
He would look into the calendar. He would see the same numbers in the tabernacle as the calendar. It's everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And, he's really great, has really great information. I would just disagree on withholding or saying certain information. You
Agreed.
know, like if we have the truth, we should spread it.
Sure.
And that's just my thoughts about that. That's all.
Well, I have to agree with you. That's why things aren't going too well for him at this point.
And I will definitely be praying for him.
Uh-huh.
You know, I remember, you know, my first time seeing him on Rod Skiba as well, so many years ago, and yeah, I felt the same as everybody else that that was correct, and you
And
know,
I have to agree. Oh, go ahead,
oh, go ahead.
Jimmy. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that the information he presented last night was very interesting. I was doing my best to concentrate on that because I was also seeing, you know, the loss of our brother Jackson.
Yeah.
And it was making it hard to focus on that, you know. But
well, y'all keep
yeah, it was
Meredith in prayer too. Okay.
yeah,
They've
absolutely.
they've got in Florida. The attacks are really hard. That's where Jackson was. She's vomiting constantly, like a virus is going around there. So.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm definitely lifting up.
Bad.
Yeah, I'm definitely lifting up everybody in prayer, and you know, all those who are struggling through the trials and tribulations or sicknesses, whatever it is. You know, Yahuah, please help us all, give us that strength, and help us to endure to the end.
Amen.
And you know, I can imagine how hard it was for those who were viewing his presentation live, and I was thinking about joining his Zoom, but there was just so many things coming up for me, and then you know I was wanting to also listen to Andy Hoy there on his presentation he was doing, so I never ended up joining his Zoom, but yeah, it's my prayers definitely go out to his friends and his family, and especially his wife.
Amen. It was his time. It was his time. He gave out the best he had.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of people couldn't understand why he would lose it sometimes and just cut people off. He was tired. I understood exactly what he was feeling.
Yeah, me as well. And yeah, I definitely understand it. You know, it gets tiring, the bickering and the arguing, you know. But he was
For
doing
sure.
his best. Yeah, he was doing his best to bring everybody together, regardless of the differences, you know. And no, I had a lot of respect for him. He was a good brother,
Yes.
and yeah, he's definitely going to be missed for sure.
Sure. And, it's just kind of, is it a coincidence? After Marissa gave hers and Ezekiel Key was going to give theirs, he passes.
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with who's right and who's wrong about the calendar.
No.
But
I just
I,
don't think, is there something about, I don't know.
yeah, no, I get it. And
Yeah,
there is no
I don't know. I
coincidence.
can't say that's why. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe because just of his last words were saying, you know, let's all just come together, basically.
Yeah,
I think that was the important. That's what I got out of all of this is just the
sure,
importance of being able to come together, you know, and
sure,
in love and kindness and respect.
sure. Agree. Agree with you. We're in interesting times. I don't think we have a whole lot of time.
I agree. I think we're all going through these struggles because, time is very short
Yes.
and the enemy's and he's enraged knowing time is short
Yeah, yes.
and he's trying to
He's
divide the body.
enraged with the woman. He's going after
Yeah,
the woman, but he can't get her.
yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
But he's doing everything he can to divide us all up before
Yeah, yeah.
before it's too late,
Correct.
And so yeah, the more we come together and we pray against the enemy and we stand united, the harder it's going to be for the enemy to work his way into anything.
Sure. Sure. Yes. Anyway, I'm sitting here looking at my dial, so I'm going to do that and let y'all talk.
Yeah, no worries. Let us know what you find, brother.
Yeah, I will upload it as soon as it hits over noon.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely not solar noon here in Arizona yet. Still probably got like a couple hours until solar noon. Maybe about an hour, hour and a half, I'd say.
Yes. It looks like, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes before I hit solar noon.
Yeah, so Ezekiel's Key, they do have their YouTube channel. They have it's like a band application, but I you should reach out to Sister Linda because she's in this group, and it it's not me to invite people to their group. It's because it's not my group. So that's the only reason I'm asking. It's probably best to go to Sister Linda. She's in our group, and I'm sure she'd be happy to answer all your questions or share whatever information as well. I know they do have some private videos, and I did share a couple of the links to those private videos, but they said they don't mind if I share that within the group. And they were actually speaking and talking about making their videos not private. And there was a reason for it. I can't remember exactly why, but they're just working on getting everything out there. They're still, a newer group, but the information they found is really amazing and fascinating. And they have a whole I know I've said this quite a bit, but they have a whole Jubilees laid out since creation up until even the future time. But yeah, they definitely have interesting information about that as well. So no, feel free to reach out to her, and I'm sure she would be very helpful in answering any questions.
Well, I talked to her today. I'll just share this part. They believe that there's 4 days there, like in creation week before the equinox, and it's the opposite in the fall. That the day one will be 4 days before the equinox.
In
So it's
the
like,
fall?
yes, in the fall, the way they've worked it out, 182 days uh, between the two, and sometimes different every 4th year. But I was just thinking, okay, if it's 4 days of we have creation, and then all of a sudden you have day one, in the spring. Then in the fall, you have day one, and then 4 days later, you have an equinox. It's kind of like, okay, $4 door. All of a sudden, you have an open door, and then you have a closed door in the fall. It's like the door's open, and then the door closes. You know, when we see that in Revelation, he has an open door that no man can shut, and a closed door that no man can open.
Yeah, interesting. No, I've been wanting to understand more about that because I know they don't agree that it's every 4 years. They say sometimes it's five in between. And the fall equinox is the marker for the leap year, basically, is what they said, I
Uh-huh.
believe. I'm
Yeah,
still trying to understand it all myself. There's a
yeah,
whole lot to learn, and
there is.
I've been trying to learn everybody's point of view. And
And the thing I picked up with Andy, it's kind of like, look, unless you come to me as a child, you'll in no wise enter the kingdom. Okay. When you're a child and you go to school, even though we're taught wrong there, what's the first thing you learn? Your alphabet. And then you learn how to um, pronounce words. And then you learn the comprehension of the words as a child so you can function in life. Is that what he's saying? Unless you come to me as a child and learn language? Possibly. Not just saying it's just that, but that would
yeah, yeah.
kind of make sense. Because we all
No,
know our English language is messed up.
oh yeah. It, yeah. I believe that verse has a couple different meanings, and yeah, because as a child, you're not like wanting to be right. You're still learning yourself. So when
Correct.
someone says something, you're like, wow, I didn't know that. And then as a child, you're gonna believe it.
Okay, solar
So,
noon.
awesome.
What time is it?
Well, it's 11:30 here, my time. Not
Okay,
sure.
It's 1:29 my time.
Okay.
129. Okay. Yeah, that's about pretty close to every year. Um, but I'll upload that picture.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
I can't see my screen. The sun's shining on it, so give, give me a minute.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if Erin's gonna put out her video of tracking it today as well. I'm sure she will.
Yeah, I think she'll do it every day until it hits, showing you the progress of each day before.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm definitely still trying to learn all sides. For right now, I am sticking with what we have found so far. And just because I'm not quick to rush into things, I just want to make sure.
That's okay. Yeah, that's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to say anybody's right or anybody's wrong.
Yeah,
I'm just studying it out for myself.
sure, sure.
Yeah, that's
We're
definitely
all
close there.
looking for that narrow gate.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it
Yeah,
makes you wonder
definitely.
when he said, "How did you get in here without a garment?"
Yep.
I wonder how many people will find out when it is, but yet they're not in covenant and doing what he said, and they get in through the door, but then they get kicked out.
Yeah, we definitely don't want that.
No, because you might know the calendar when it is, and get through the door. But then when you get there, he's going, wait a minute. You guys got unforgiveness. You guys got bitterness. You got all this. Oh, no, 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 no. How did you get in here?
Yeah, exactly. And no, that was my whole point. Our last fellowship,
Yeah.
it's not, sometimes we could focus so much on one thing that we lose sight of everything else that's very much important.
Yeah. You should have
And
did the weightier matters of the Torah and not left the other things undone.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I really wanted to focus on those weightier matters. I'm not saying the calendar's not weighty because it definitely is, but
Yeah, it's a piece of something. Yes, you bet.
there
You bet.
are other weightier matters as well.
Correct.
And the biggest of all matters is love, because Yahuwah is
Uh-huh.
love, and
You bet.
loving Yahuwah, loving our neighbors, and
Yeah.
just doing all things in compassion, truly.
Sure. Sure. And loving our neighbors and loving truth and mercy, justice, kindness. Yeah, well, all those things matter. It's all part of coming in there with the right garment. It's not just how many people are going to get calendar right, and man, their heart's a mess, and they get into
Yeah,
bitterness and unforgiveness. Wait a minute, Father doesn't even hear your prayers anymore because of your unforgiveness, and neither will He forgive you of your trespasses. That's a
yeah,
serious thing, and that's going a whole lot in this movement.
yeah.
A lot.
It is a very serious matter. I agree 100%. And
It's rampant. Yeah.
we are judged as how we judge others as well. So if we're judging people harshly and
Yeah.
bashing them over the head,
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
gonna get the same from Yahuwah when it's our turn.
All right. And if we, like I've always said, if people say, well, this is Yahuwah's calendar, watch it. Because like I read out of that old scroll about the Ten Commandments, speaking Yahuwah's name in deceit, saying he said one thing when he did not, saying he's this way and he's not. Well, that's speaking his name in deceit. It's not just pronouncing his name correctly.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
He's speaking something totally different. You're saying that he said this, or you're representing him that he's that way when he's not. So when we get together, like we're all students and we're learning, we say, well, this is how I see it. Am I saying this is his total truth of how we're supposed to do this? No. I'm learning just like you.
Yeah, precisely.
And we better
And
stay that way and not say
correct.
he's doing it this way or that way. No. We better not. Let's stay on the safe side.
Exactly, because we could all be wrong. We could all be
Yeah.
wrong.
Like I've always
Yeah,
brought up to you, Jeremy. Can you imagine? Well, they just didn't get the counter, and they stand before him and they figure out that they treated this person that way. They slandered this person. They had bitterness against this person because they didn't see it the way they saw it, and they stand before him. And he said, well, let me open the book here. And let me see here what we got in here. Oh, you treated this person that way. You treated them with disrespect and unkindful. And let me tell you one thing. You got the calendar wrong, too. So how's that? That's tough.
yeah, exactly. Truly, it's scary, honestly.
It
It
is.
really is. And there's the verse about, you know, there are some who should not be teachers, things like that,
That
because
cannot be
teachers,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, that it also goes with our attitude as well,
Right.
because with our own attitudes, we are teaching others how to behave, and we're supposed to set that example.
Yep.
So if we have a bad attitude, or, you know, we're hating one another just because, you know, oh, you don't agree with what I say, so
Uh,
you're dead to me now. Like
yeah.
we shouldn't do that at all, honestly.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that is also teaching, because, you know, people are observing things, and, you know, really the Torah movement in its entirety,
It's a
there
train
seems,
wreck.
yeah, it really is, and people are seeing that, and that's why they're kind of pushed away from it, because they see all the fighting and
Yeah.
hating
Oh
each
yeah.
other.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
it shouldn't be like that. It should be like,
It
you know, if
wasn't
you,
like that in '08 and '09 and
no,
2010, 11. It was not like that. No, it was
yeah,
not.
no. Even when I first came to it in 2016, it wasn't even like that. There
Yeah.
were signs of it, but it wasn't all like that. And
No, it wasn't. We were just happy that, man, he showing us stuff, you know.
yeah, yeah,
We were just
precisely.
we were just thankful, like, man, you know, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy to even see this. Thank you. Thank you, Father.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, speaking of that verse about, you know, not being teachers, or some should not be teachers, things
Yeah.
like that, I was actually looking that up in the Hebrew, Jacob, James.
Uh,
But it actually says in there, here, let me just share it with everybody.
yeah.
It says that you should not call yourself expert teachers,
Uh,
or, sorry, beloved brothers, every one of you must be an expert teacher, and know that punishment will be greater.
yeah.
So I think that it, it also means, you know, hey, if we're teaching falsely, we're going to suffer double for it. But if
Uh,
we're claiming to be experts, like, that's even worse, you know? And
yeah. Really.
I, I think it has a lot to do with, like, churchianity, for example, you know, how they're like, oh, well, my way or the highway type preachers or pastors, or even in the Torah movement, you know, there's the people that, if you don't agree with everything I agree with, you know, we're split, we're done, you can't be part of my group.
Been there over and
And
over.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, even all that is, it's teaching others by our behaviors and how we react and things like that.
Yeah.
I guess none of us are perfect. Like,
Mm,
we're all gonna make mistakes. We're all gonna slip up and have flaws.
yeah.
But it doesn't mean we should hold these things against each other. And especially if someone is repentant or have turned and come to apologize, whatever situation, you know, we shouldn't hold people's past against them.
No. No. Not at all. We better be quiet because he'll put you in the same shoes that you treat others. Then let you feel what it feels like.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
done. He's done
exactly.
it to me. He's done it to me many times.
Oh, he's done it to me as well.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. He'll put you through the same thing that you're doing to someone else. Sure. So you can feel what it feels like, so you don't do it again.
It's how we
Sometimes
learn.
sometimes we have to learn that way, don't we?
Going through the fire, and, you know, gold like gold. Sometimes
Oh
it
yeah.
burns, but gotta go through it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say, well, why is this happening to me? And you don't sit and examine your own self. And I always say, okay, is it something I did? Is this the enemy, or what is this? And then when I look, and you know, sometimes he shows you, and uh, like I say, I remember a time when I was doing well in business. I'll share this. Doing well in business, and I was getting this and getting that, and everything wasn't just for me, but I was getting things that probably didn't matter. You know what I mean? And then before I know it, I got a pile in my living room. He makes me walk past that every day because they got nowhere to put it. And it just started to make me sick. And this was a while back. And I'm going,
Yeah.
oh, gosh, forgive me. Forgive me. Because there's things we think we need, and we're not taking care of the widow, the orphan, the poor, feeding the poor, and taking care of their needs. There's things that you get that you don't really need. There's many things I've got that you don't keep track of it, and then you go buy the same thing again, realize you got 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so those kind of things, and that's just what he puts you through, so you can deal with it and say, "Oh man, forgive me, I'll never do that again." Yeah, many things, many things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all we can do when we make a mistake. We repent and ask for forgiveness, and
Mm-hmm.
you know,
And don't do it again.
learn. Yeah, exactly. Learn from our mistakes.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, how are we going to learn?
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful the way the Father does it. He has his ways. Everybody's got different struggles, and he deals with people in different ways. So
Yeah, correct.
wonderful what he's doing. And I just think this is the time, like I've said, you see the waters and floods everywhere, and he's telling you, okay, the water's broke. And just like a woman going into labor, we're in the birth pains, and great tribulation is coming up, the last 3.5.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I believe something big is coming, and it could be just that.
yeah, I think
The
so.
enemy's fighting hard against all of us, for real.
Sure. But Father's allowing it to refine us before that time so that we can be ready. Because I do see in there, whether anybody believes in little season or not, or I guess that's a benefactor in that. But I do see in Revelation that, you know, he goes after the woman, which is the bride, which is also the city. And, they can't get the woman. The woman's prepared. She's prepared before the last great tribulation. Because you've set your love on me, I'll keep her from the hour of testing and come upon the whole world. So some will be ready before that time because they've gone through the birth pains and it's refined them. And then some people will have to go through the fire to get the rest of the refining. That's how I see it.
No, I would definitely agree.
Yeah.
And, regardless of whether we are pre or post millennial reign,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's still the same goal, and the same things are going to happen, in my opinion. And either way, it's coming very soon.
It is.
It truly is. And
Oh, I didn't know if y'all knew, but I'm not sure where it's at. Maybe New York. Did y'all hear they set up a golden statue of Trump, 12 foot tall, him holding a Bitcoin?
wow, no, I did not know that.
Yep, sure
Wow.
did. Mm-hmm. Set up a golden statue 12 feet tall. Yeah.
Holding a Bitcoin, you said?
Holding a Bitcoin in his hand. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Digital currency.
Yep. That that's exactly what they're going for.
Yeah.
They want
Uh-huh.
they they want that all connected,
Yeah.
digital currency, tracking and tracing,
Uh-huh.
social credit score.
Yeah.
You name it, they want it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
We will own nothing and be happy. That saying.
Hey, I remember I was in prayer years ago, and that's before I came into Torah. You know what the Messiah told me? When I was in prayer, I couldn't get off the floor. It's like he was there, and I lost all strength. He said, Lee, you're going to lose everything you got when you got nothing left but me. And I had to think about that for a little bit. And it's Okay, you're going to lose nothing and be happy. Oh, yeah. That's a true statement. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to lose everything, but I'm still going to be happy because the world's going to be stripped from us. Every care of this life, he has to do it. Father has to do this. So,
Yeah, I agree. And
yeah.
we can't worry about money and possessions or
Nope.
material things because
Nope.
none of that is going to matter
Mm-mm.
when we got to get out and go hide in the wilderness. Like,
Yep. Yeah.
like none of
He's
that.
going to cause you to trust him for everything, not this system. Everything.
I just praise Yahuwah. He allowed me to grow up, hunting, fishing, camping, being out in the wilderness for months at a time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, these are going to be important things when we're going to have to go out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And my whole life I've been working like construction. I was a framer building houses. I did flooring, roofing, little bit of plumbing. Uh, I've been a mechanic and working on all kinds of different vehicles,
Mm-hmm.
even power tools.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I know all these different skills and trades that would definitely be helpful in that situation if it definitely comes down to it. And
Sure.
I think he allowed me to learn these things so I can help others as well
Sure.
when that time comes, when
I
that
agree.
situation arises.
I agree. It's to help someone else. He's gonna build a community during all this for sure. I am fully convinced. He has to strip everything down in order for people to come and get it together, get away from their phones, get away from this distraction, that distraction, where everything just comes to a close of technology, whatever. And I think they're going to reboot the system, and it won't be the same. So you won't be able to go to the places you go to now and all that stuff, and it will cause a community to come together because we need a community.
Yeah, like in person.
Yeah, in
Because
person.
yeah, because that
Sure,
the online thing is really nice and we can all gather together.
sure, sure. It's
But
first season.
yeah, but being in person is so much more. And you could see each other's faces and expressions and things like
Hmm.
that. And
Sure,
it's so much better.
sure. Wonderful.
And
Okay, I'll
yet,
be
yeah,
quiet. We'll let
and yeah,
somebody else talk.
I heard that same thing, Kayleen. If you're on a SSA or SSI, they're going to be able to track every penny you spend by having access to your checking account and Social Security as well. Yeah, that's what they want. They even talked about what was it? Putting our tax returns as digital currency or something like that as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so the B system is it's literally upon us.
It
It's
is.
just not fully implemented as of yet, but it's very close. They're
Yeah.
propping it up as the latest greatest thing. Like, oh, get Bitcoin, it's awesome. Oh, get Elon Musk's brain chip. It's great.
Yeah, right. No, thank you.
Yeah, no thanks. Oh, go ahead
Uh,
and use our AI system. It's so amazing.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
control
yeah.
our
Well, they're
demons.
going to roll out technology you hadn't seen. They've had this for they're 50 years, probably more advanced. When it all comes out, it's going to look wonderful. It's going to be a utopia. Chaos has to come first, and then somebody comes and just fixes everything with all this new technology.
I think it's going to be like Scripture says, 'cause it's those false miracles that are going to be performed. Helping the blind to see or the crippled to walk,
Yeah,
because that's what his brain chip is. That's what they're saying. They're like, oh, it can help blind people to see and things
yeah.
like that. But it's these false miracles
Sure. Med bed.
brought.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, med beds and everything else. And if you look at most of those med beds, they got a picture of Medusa on the bottom of it.
Yeah. The what's it called? Caduceus or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, anybody in pain, just like when they go to the hospital and they're in pain, whatever, they just want relief. So they're getting everybody sick, so they'll just want a relief, and then they'll run to them to get the solution, and that's not the solution.
Yeah, they're gonna run to men and technology instead of Yahuwah.
That's correct. But if Ezekiel's key's right, and I think the 2028 will be a Shemitah year also, they think 29 going into 30 will be the Jubilee year. I agree. I have to agree with them according to what I understand. And if that's the case, they believe that the Great Tribulation will begin next year on the first day of unleavened bread.
Yeah, no, I've been paying attention to what they're saying about that. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that sounds pretty much correct. And if you count the days, yes, coming up to Yom Kippur when he sets his feet on the Mount of Olives, it fits.
and
So,
I know on their fellowship the other day they found more things leading to 2029.
yes,
And
yeah.
yeah,
And it's lining up with the priest too. So I
yeah,
can't I can't dispute it because it does.
correct. And that's what we were trying to work on here is lining everything up with the priestly courses. They
Uh-huh.
already had it done.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
They have.
wow.
Gotta have. So if it begins next year, I think we're going to have a rough winter. I think we're about to experience something maybe this month. We'll see. Not saying it's going to happen, but I'd be watching out for the 23rd, 24th of this month for something to happen. This might be the dark winter that they're talking about. Things happen, things get tough. Father's going to do what he can to straighten us out before the time begins. And hopefully we're worthy to escape all those things that are about to happen.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree.
And may we pray, and should you pray, that you be worthy to escape all these things. Not his worthiness, yours. So,
Yeah, it's something we all definitely need to consider and take to Yahuwah himself,
correct,
pray, pray that
correct.
we ourselves are counted worthy.
So, and I feel like I got a ways to go, but he'll get me there.
We all do, brother.
Yeah.
He knows what the enemy has done. He knows how the enemy has removed books, removed verses, reworded verses, hidden
Yeah, he
things
knows.
we don't even know that are hidden.
Sure.
And all we have is what we are able to study. And,
Sure.
he understands that absolutely.
He does. He does. Do what you know. Be sincere. Um, that's all he asked. He never asked you to be perfect. He asked you to be sincere.
Yeah,
No,
correct.
nobody's going to get everything right. I'm sorry. It's not.
Yeah,
There's only
yeah,
one that's good. There's only one that's good. Okay. He can judge righteously because he is good. He don't have a beam in his eye. We got a lot
correct.
of beams in our eye, and we better not. We better first get those beams out, and then we can see clearly. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But anyway, anybody else?
Yeah, if anybody else, has anything to add or anything they want to ask or bring up, feel free.
Miss Ellie, what do you have to say?
Sister Ellie. Maybe
Awake, oh sleeper. Awake, oh sleeper.
yeah, maybe she's just listening there in the background. No worries.
Yeah.
And yeah, Shalom, Andrea, Sister Andrea. Glad you can make it to our Yom Teruah Fellowship.
Shalom to all of you. How are you all?
Not too bad. Getting better. All praise to the Most High.
Praise, yeah. Well, let's all celebrate today. Yeah, we're all together. We still, we still have, ways to hang together, which is a way to celebrate, even if we don't have too many people, face to face, but we still have other people to join in the celebration, which is amazing. Regardless of how we celebrate it, we still have like-minded to celebrate with.
Precept. I agree. Yeah, no, we may not have very many people in person, if anyone at all, but we are all here and we're all scattered right now, and it's going to be amazing when we do have an opportunity to come together and finally meet face to face.
I believe that not having a big crowd right now, it's quite a protection. And I'll explain why. Because somehow, when you have a big crowd, you're tended to cater to the crowd sometimes and please the crowd. And you have a small community, you're not so tempted to follow the needs of the community precisely, but to follow what the Lord says or what Yahuah says. So it's going to be the risk, to cater to that, especially because this system is going to get more and more deceiving, It's going to get more and more emotionally, influenced. So it's going to be hard to stand up and to get out of the system. And I'm not talking about people like us. I'm talking about everything that's going to happen, with all this emotional hype that we can see around that is pulling so many people into it. Well, most people are just going to get, if they're not going to get, snared in one, they might get snared in another one. It's just, if you don't understand to pull out of the system completely, little by little, just to stick to what Yahuwah is saying. And in regard
Yeah,
to,
no, I agree for sure.
yeah,
Just
what
focus
AI
on
is,
Yahuwah, really.
yeah, what AI is, I mean, obviously, I believe that AI
My,
is not necessary.
my
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
the mornings. Oh, hold on one moment. My phone lost signal. Oh, can you guys hear?
Yeah, I think mine got cut off too for a while.
Yeah, me as well. My phone signal just went out. I was gonna say something, but I got distracted by my phone going out. So apologies.
I wanna say something because we've been talking about AI, and I believe that AI comes also from something more deeper than artificial intelligence, and it's not necessarily demon. I think it's angelic intelligence, rather fallen angels or divine angels. And I'm going to say why. I can see constantly online that people are being fed according to the belief they're holding in their heart. Whatever information they receive, some of us receive different information through this angelic intelligence than the other ones that hold up different beliefs. We call it algorithm. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I hear
Yeah,
you.
it's being quiet, so I don't really know if I'm cutting off. So we are calling it algorithm of the system. I don't really believe it's an algorithm because we believe it's a demonic thing, yeah? But we do not see the other side, that it delivers to those that believe in Yahuah the right information. So I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's always existed, only that we're able to tap into it right now, and Yahuah is using it through his divine angelic intelligence to feed those that belong to him, or the right path, the right information, the right knowledge, little by little, as far as they can actually grasp it. And to those whose hearts, whose beliefs are rooted in their hearts toward this world, they're feeding them exactly the deceivement. I
Correct.
think it's a double-edged sword. It goes according to the belief you're holding in your heart. That's why most people don't see what we see. It's the same as we think they see what we see, but I think they're not seeing what we see. And there's been so many, pictures of messages that are actually distorted. They're converted. What we know happens, they don't know those things that happen. They are presented information in a completely different form. So somehow, I believe that, it is angelic intelligence, fallen angels or divine angels. It's a way of Yahuwah communicating with us, or a way of, the fallen spirits or angels communicated with those that do not tend to, you know, depart from this system. They are entangled in it, and they're gonna, whatever allegiance you have to the system, regardless, political, religious, whatever it is gonna pull you down. We are literally witnessing the dismantling of this system and the trying to implement another one that is beyond our comprehension, which is so spiritual, and most people are going to be dragged in the new one, thinking that, the monetary system, the political system, some of them are for us, all this entanglement that right now, like, we just need to learn to stay still. Once the ones that we are in is dismantled, we have to not contract into the new one. Let's put it this way, because everything is a contract. The Bible, it's a book of the law. It's a covenant. It's a contract. If we get out of that contract by contract with everything that is in this world, whatever it is that implies a system, I believe it's a demonic system, and unless you stay out of contract, that's what Adam did. The contract was given to him. He contracted out of God's law into, the law of Satan. Yeah. So it was a simple thing. So the same for us, whatever system it is, because right now it goes crazy with what happened. Yeah. People tend to not see that is part of a system. And Satan is so crafty, so emotionally, sneaky, so to entangle everybody, to pledge allegiance to one thing or the other, one thing or the other.
Sure, a lot of
And
people are stuck in the system.
it
When he told us not to be like the nations and don't make a covenant with them, a lot of us have done that ignorantly, because I know their law, when they say law, it means land, air, and water. And we've got all that stuff, I've looked into that years ago about you make a covenant with the land and maritime law and all those things. But I think that's probably why Mashiach said, don't fear In other words, they own your body because you've made a contract. And he said, don't fear those that can kill the body. So because you made a covenant with the nations, unknowingly, ignorantly, we all did that, got driver's licenses and all this other stuff. But you got to realize, I think it's the double-edged sword too. What I meant for evil, I meant it for good. So all those things that are coming our way is for our good, and it's going to look bad. It's not going to feel good, but he's going to turn it around for your good.
I
So,
agree for sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
I believe we are actually under the judgment. Just that we just don't see it. The whole system is getting judged and dismantled by the very people that are fulfilling, you know, Satan is fulfilling the judgment. Yeah. These people are fulfilling that judgment. We are under judgment. We're so into it, we just don't see it. We still, it's gonna come, it's gonna come. It is happening under our feet. It's above us, but throughout the scriptures, God always took care of his people. Always. It has not been a case when God has not taken care of his people. So we're not going to be, if we're not entangled in the system, we're not going to perish with it. But if we are entangled in it and play allegiance to it, whatever emotionally, entanglement we have to this system is going to drag us down, because at one point you're going to act upon it. You're going to do something that, it's not going to keep you outside the system. Rather it's fear, rather whatever. I mean, we have all this information that, everything that is happening in the world, with all the money, all the everything that we tend to be fearful, to get ready, to prepare, to do that, to do that. Certain point is to get ready in our little homes, but not to get ready, I don't know, because we're not going to be able to escape unless Yahuah is putting us out of the system's judgment. So, but he's not going to judge us if we stay out of the system. It's like, because that's the one meant to perish, not us. So, staying out of it, staying still, staying not emotionally attached to all this little craziness that's going to go, or bigger craziness that's going to go around, It's going to keep us safe in Yahuwah's name. And yeah, I agree with you with the maritime and the law of the land. And because if there would not be God's law, the law of the land, and if they would not be forced to abide by that law, they would have never changed a law into one that we do not know exists. So the maritime contract law, maritime admiralty law that we have all contracted in unknowingly, and we are born into the system that has been implemented a while ago. So by contracting them there, we are all into this system to a certain degree. So none of us, can even say that we are fulfilling the first commandment, to the full extent, because we are in the beast system. We are working with the contracts. We are contracting with the beast system. But I guess desiring to come out of it will just have Yahuah delivering us the message how to actually stay out of it. Through AI, it could happen, yeah? As little by little, we all receive information. I have information right now that I've been looking 2 years ago like crazy. I couldn't find anything about it. I couldn't find anything about it. And suddenly, Yahuah is opening doors to information I've never had. I searched for it and I couldn't find it. And it proves right now it's been there for so long. I just couldn't find it, and I was searching for it. So somehow it's whatever. I'm ready to receive it right now. I don't know the reason, but I can find it. I find people. I find that they've been ready for this for much longer than I have been, and they've been doing it, and they've been understanding it, and it's just insane. So I wonder lately, it's a way, this AI, it's a way of the Lord delivering us or guiding us on a path with good information, or fallen angels with bad information. So getting farther and farther, some of us getting closer and closer. Anyway, this is what I was saying about AI.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And that's the division that the word does, is it'll push some further away, but it'll bring others closer. And it's not us doing the dividing, it's the word doing that. Yeah, no, thank you for sharing.
I think he's going to give the whole world an opportunity. I think we're going to see something this month. That's just a personal opinion.
Yeah, because what was it? It says those who, do not preach or teach the commands will be least in the kingdom. It doesn't say they're
Right.
not going to make the kingdom, but they're going to be least in it. So just something to think about.
Just like the Levites, they were to seek Yah, the inner circle, which is split in 4 quadrants, just like the holy place, just like the top of the dome. You got the Tav there, and if you see the circle around there, you got the Tet, which is the basket of the earth. And but that is split into 4 quadrants. And how many Levites do you have? Well, you got Kohen, Kohath, Merari, Gershon. You've got 4 different kinds of priests operating there in the middle of the circle. And just like the 12 patriarchs tell us, Judah is supposed to submit to Levi. Everybody submits to Levi, and they all have to come give their portions to Levi, because his job is to seek Yah alone and have answers and do the work in the tabernacle, which is go out and teach. And I don't mean false priest. The priest
Yeah, exactly.
under the Messiah. Okay, so yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And I agree. All of us are actually supposed to go out and teach and things. And that doesn't mean, we're a teacher. We're just sharing everything we've learned. And we shouldn't go out to teach to say, I'm right, all these other people are wrong. No, it's just like, hey,
right.
check out what I found in the Word. Please
Sure.
go test it out for yourself.
Yeah.
Very, very important lessons and important subjects. And really, the most important one is love, loving one another. And, I appreciate each and every one of you. And, I love each and every one of you as well. And I'm so thankful to Yahuah that we are able to gather in fellowship here together. Like, everybody has their ups and downs, but, if we're able to work through that, we can become stronger together, and help us not to make further mistakes. But, thank you all. Yes, Baruch, Yahuah, absolutely. Man, we've been here over 2 hours already. It doesn't feel like it. It's always great coming together with everybody. So yeah, I didn't want to have too long of a fellowship today, but I did want to
I
have
wanted to say something, if you can hear me.
Oh yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, sister.
Okay. I was reading in the thing about Sabbath and 24 hours, and a lot of people do think that it's either morning to morning or evening to evening. And one of the things that I learned, especially when I'm looking at Jeremiah, is that he made a covenant with the day and the covenant with the night. And he spoke specifically, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. And then we have Exodus 16, in which he sends, he tells them, tomorrow is the Sabbath day. He doesn't say this evening begins the Sabbath day. He says tomorrow is the Sabbath day. Bake what you will bake and seethe what you will seethe. And then that evening, that evening, he sent the quail. So that was after sunset. The quail all came in, and they went in and gathered quail for a 3 days journey, it says, or something like that. So they were very busy after sunset that evening, working with the quail. So that's Exodus 16. If anybody wants to look at a scriptural precedent for the way that Yah led his people to observe the Sabbath day.
Yeah, no, very good points. I agree. Absolutely. It's the Sabbath day, the Yom, the light portion, unless otherwise specified, like Passover and Day of Atonement.
But it gets confusing because it says in the evening and the morning were the first day, and a lot of people think that evening and morning means night and day, but that's not what the words say.
Yeah, exactly. They don't understand that the Erev and the Boker is the blendings, so that's included in that first day. And then after that blending, boom, the next day starts in the morning at sunrise. Yeah, no, thank you, Sister Ellie. Yeah, when he was on the tree, they separated by segments to describe the time. Yeah. And yes, Sister Kayleen, so in my article, I have a write-up about when a day begins. And I believe, each day, and especially like Sabbath, it's from sunrise to sunset. And then, no one worked in the evenings or anything like that. So the evening was just always a rest time. And it's only in modern times that we have, these night shifts or people working overtime at their jobs. The only time people worked in the evening then, and it wasn't even really work, it was just, a night watchman. And that was all. It wasn't like they were doing their secular work at night. They were just to keep watch that night, And yeah, so that's
Yeah, I was thinking another aspect of it is how he makes a covenant with the day and with the night, and he calls us to come away, as it were. He gave me a song one time. Come away with me in the morning and the evening at the rising and the setting of the sun. And I have thought of that as, okay, he's completed the covenant of the day with us to protect us and take care of us and guide us. And now he's called us to be with him. I mean, he walked with Adam and Eve in the cool of the day, which was right right before it talks about the wind that comes up right around sunset. And so then we renew this covenant with him in the evening going into the night. That's how I've thought of it. That's more recently anyway. And maybe somebody else has thoughts on that.
No, I would agree. You know, it's that there's even the Dead Sea Scrolls, they have the morning, the noon, and the evening prayers. And let me actually grab my article here real quick. I can share it. Hold on. Let me find it here. Here we go. No, it's being not letting me go to it for some reason. Hold on. Okay, I got it. One sec. And so that one leads you right to the exact chapter that link I sent. And I walk it through scriptures basically and give many scriptural examples onto why I believe the day begins in the morning and it ends at the sunset. And then the evenings separate each day. So that way a unclean day isn't touching a holy day or a set apart day. And even though the night is belonging to that day prior, it's still like that separation, you know? Yeah, no problem.
The warm part of the day when the sun's up.
Yeah. I missed the first part of what you were saying. It was breaking up a little bit there, but I heard you at the end. Yeah, no, I agree with all those scriptures there, Dominique, for sure.
Hey, Jeremy,
Yeah.
what do you think the significance is on the 3 days of darkness? We know when the Lamb's chosen on the 10th day, it was 3 days of darkness before the Pesach. Before the Passover, it was darkness. It came before then. And then the destroyer came in that evening at Passover to take out Pharaoh's firstborn. What
Yeah.
significance do you see on the 10th when they chose the lamb up into Pesach of 3 days of darkness? Because we know Messiah was in the grave, darkness for 3 days. We see that with Yonah. And we also see Lot when he shut the door and they were groping for the door of darkness. There's many places of those incidents that happened. What do you feel like the significance is with the choosing of the Lamb and the 3 days of darkness?
I think there's a very big significance because that was one of the plagues that was sent on to Egypt. It was 3 days of darkness.
Yeah, the ninth plague. But
Yeah.
how do you think that fits in with what's coming up? Because I think we're going to experience that again.
Well, I think that's going to be one of the signs that, we should probably flee to the wilderness just like they were doing in the Exodus, especially if we got 3 days of darkness and everybody's panicking and, oh, the world's coming to an end type deal. I think that's going to be definitely the for sure sign to, hey, get out, flee to the wilderness, just like Scripture says, be no part of the system.
Well, they had 3 days of darkness, and then you had the Passover. They didn't flee to the first day of unleavened bread. So that happened before they fled. So I think of, okay, shut your doors until the indignation passes. Don't go outside. Let him take care of what he needs to take care of to take out the wicked. And then it's time to go.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't think about that part, yeah. Because he does say stay inside.
Yep. Close your doors until the indignation passes. Don't go out. Don't go out of your homes. And there was light in their houses. They had light in their dwellings, which also is the light inside of us, but also in their homes. Both.
And that light is Yahuah as well.
Yeah. You bet. You bet.
Yeah, so, it'll probably be the sign, stay inside, lock your doors, and after this part is over, it's time to flee,
Correct. Just wondering your thought about that on him choosing the lamb on the 10th day and all, because it's darkness before, including the Passover evening. So, and then they left on the leavened bread. Because he gives us an open book to tell the end from the beginning. What happened to the fathers will happen to the descendants.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to happen the same way, just on a more significant scale,
Correct.
Yeah, no, I definitely would agree. That's going to be a major sign for us, and we're definitely going to know when it's here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No one would be able to deny it,
Correct. Yeah.
So yeah, it would definitely be a time to be on the lookout, stay inside, let Yahuah deal with the enemy during that time, and then when that's over, it's time to flee.
Yep.
Those are my thoughts, in my opinion.
Anybody else have anything on that?
I do.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, go ahead.
Go right ahead. I'll go after you.
Okay, as long as you can hear what I'm saying. If I get dropped, then you can go ahead, okay? Now, I've seen several YouTubes on this, and one of them was from a Catholic perspective. Some priest or something was given this that this is what you need to do, and don't look outside, because definitely don't open your door, and the only candles that will work is these special candles you got to buy from the priests or something, these holy candles. And I thought that was an interesting perspective, and perhaps he wasn't hearing from the same one that I do, from the same side spiritually that I do. And then I saw another one, I think it was, or at least part of one, I think it was one you sent, Lee, and it had, it was talking about
Is that the lady?
The one that you sent yesterday or the day before?
Yeah. Was it the lady? Was it a lady?
I think so. I don't remember. What I remember is content compared to the other content.
Okay.
And in this one, yeah, it was a lady that had a dream or a vision or several dreams, I think, a series of dreams.
Sincere, not a fake to me.
And what I was getting there was that, well, of course, we'll have lights in our house.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Of course, they did in Egypt. Why wouldn't we?
Correct.
And the encouragement is, make sure you're clear with the Father. Make sure you're clear with our Savior, so that way you can have the light in your house, and do what you can to make sure that everybody in your house is of the light. Otherwise, you might just have candles or something. Or if your soul is not completely cleansed by that time, you'll have more opportunity to walk through it with Him. But it's encouraging people to make sure that everything's right. And I believe that we will have the protection. I don't know that I've concluded the same as she has. That this coming for us may or may not be us going somewhere with Him and hiding. It may be that this is the time when, after that was when He gave them to go out and to talk to the neighbors, and to either gather them with them, or receive goods from them that would help them on their journey. It would seem to me that we would need to, in this time, that 3 days, that we would need to be in fellowship with our Abba and asking Him, okay, what's next? Prepare me, prepare my heart, prepare my household. If I'm living with someone, prepare us for what's next and guide us into the next thing, as opposed to that, because it didn't even make clear that He was coming right after that in her visions. And sometimes when we see visions, hear things, we put our own spin or understanding on how He means by what He says.
Sure.
And and he's taught me that before. I thought I knew what He meant. And I remember at that time in my experience, I was homeschooling my son, and we were invited with all the other homeschool children in our community to watch a movie about that one who preached to the birds and wrote Father, Son, Sister, Moon. He wrote a song. He was very, very, very inclined to share the gospel wherever he was led to. And there were others I know that they would be supposedly preaching to the trees, and there would be people behind listening and stuff. But he heard the Lord's voice. That's how he defined it, telling him build my church. And he had, he was raised kind of more of in a household where his father was a lord or something, so he had more to work with than a lot of people, and he had a lot of buddies that they went to school, they went to different places together, and they were interested. And so he had like 12 buddies, and he's trying to work out, what does build my church mean? And he came across a broken down church out in the countryside somewhere, and him and his buddies, they went and they built it back up. And then he told them, essentially, thank you. You didn't ask what I meant. And I would like you to build the spiritual body, my spiritual body. But I thought that was a really good time that they had to all work together physically on something so that they could get to know one another and bond together and learn how to listen for his voice, and then learn how to interpret it. And he was rebuking one of the guys because he laughed. And he said, well, I didn't know what it meant, so I laughed, And I think how many of us, whenever we first start walking with our Abba, and we're basically carnal. We interpret things by what we see, hear, smell, sense, taste, and then he starts working with us. We got some friends, a brother and I were talking. We've got some brethren that the Father told them to do this, and he listens to it and all the excitement and all the drama that they're going through because they just immediately did what they understood our Abba to give them. And there's been a lot of challenges, we said, after he told you what to do, did you ask him how and when? No, they didn't. And we just have this thing like we need to do it immediately, or we can't do it, so we put it off. And he wants us to ask him further to understand better if he tells us something. And anyway, these are lessons that that I've pondered from various things in my experience. And it's funny, that was watching that one brother, I don't even remember his name, but it was like a second witness to what the Father was teaching me in my spirit. So with that, I'll yield.
Yeah. I mean, I don't agree with everything that lady said. Okay.
I wasn't taking you to task. I know that you sent it because you wanted us to get whatever out of it that the Spirit led us to get, right?
Sure, you bet. Because I know that you know enough where it won't hurt you. So, but we all got to realize, okay, well, the 9th plague came. That was Passover. But remember, Israel only went through the first 3 judgments. Then you had the mixed multitude gathering with them because they finally go, okay, wait a minute. Especially
Right.
after the hail judgment, they decided to bring their cattle in there too and do this and do that, and a mixed multitude left with them. They're finally, through the judgments, they're realizing who's in charge, and Yah's not playing. So I think we're going to see the same thing. So evidently, the plagues, it happened way before Passover. How that works out for how long between each plague, it's not specific. We don't know. You know, I don't think it's one day this plague or one day the next plague. No. But we know the ninth plague wasn't until Passover. And then finally on the third plague, I mean, they're waking up. Hey, wait a minute. We're going with them. It's interesting. I've been studying on the 3 days and 3 nights. I see it everywhere. Yeah, 3 days of darkness. I'm sorry. Yeah.
This reminds me of the verse, of the 10 virgins and
Uh-huh.
the ones that had enough oil and the ones that didn't have enough oil.
Right. Correct.
Something that come to mind when Lee was talking, and I agree with what I've thought this for a long time. Pretty much what Lee is talking about today. That that we'll have to stay inside and just not look out the windows and all that. And I did watch a video, and a lot of it was good. And like you said, Lee, we have to glean as we watch things. But something that come to mind, and I've been watching Ezekiel's Keys, some of their videos. And one thing that they had done with their studies is they were saying that from what they're looking at, they see the tribulation starting next spring.
Correct.
And
on unleavened bread.
Yes, and it made me think, well, the days of darkness, we need to start watching for those probably in the spring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Well, if there's 3 days and 3 nights, I think he's about to do something after trumpets and through this winter, leading up to that to get everybody's attention first.
Absolutely.
Because remember, the ninth plague was Pesach. Well, they put the blood of the lamb on their doorpost. So there's got to be something that happens maybe from this trumpets. If it is the starting of the last 3.5, leading up to Messiah's coming, and I do believe that the 2028 is a Shemitah year going into a Jubilee year, going into 2030. I can see it. It's there. When you put the priestly order together, it's there. So I have to agree with them there. So could this be the dark winter? Could this be something happens September 23rd, possibly? It's possible. Like Ezekiel Key's doing, they're doing their trumpets tomorrow. And they're saying that 4 days later is the equinox. It's in reverse. And I'm looking at my dial, and I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. But then if you reverse it and go back to the Passover, okay, it looks like you have 3 days, boom, there's 4. And then the next day starts your year. There's 4 days there, too. And it's like the Messiah, he says he has an open door and he shuts the door. I set before you an open door that no one can open, and a door or an open door that no one can shut, and a shut door that no one can open. So we see that, and I can see that in a fall festival and a spring festival, like an open door and a shut door. Yeah,
And
it
I
makes
was gonna say,
perfect sense.
yeah, I was about to say that same thing because the fall festivals are opposite the spring festivals. So
Correct.
like how Passover is the head of, unleavened bread, but the last great day of Sukkot is that 8th day of Sukkot at the end of it.
Correct.
Oh,
It's in
wow.
reverse.
Yeah, it's making me think because what if they're right?
Yeah.
And they're saying that equinox is coming in 4 days after.
Yes. Yes. On my dial, it looks like it could be another, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
But they're going by Jerusalem time, too. So that's going to be
Yeah.
a little different than here. So
I would actually agree with them using Jerusalem or Israel's time, because
Yep,
that's where the Dead Sea Scrolls are, and that's where the sons of Zadok were
you bet.
tracking all these things.
That's where he said his name, and he's not changing that, regardless
And
of
if,
how much of a mess they're in over there. Okay,
yeah,
regardless.
exactly. Yeah, it's right now that land is defiled. Yes, absolutely. And
Sure.
it's
And
not
so
where
is this
Yah's
one. So
people
is this one because there's a lot of
are. Yeah.
bloodshed here.
Oh, yeah. I think all the earth is defiled right now.
Yeah.
And
I really sense, Jeremy, something's going to happen. Maybe this month. I'm not saying it is. We could have a shaking happening. I'm going to be on the safe side and go ahead and ground out my vehicles. I've already had one taken out, so
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
going to go ahead and ground it out. And if people don't know, you know your car's sitting on rubber tires. There's no metal touching the ground. It's not grounded. Take a copper rod, drive it in the ground, get you some jumper cables, connect both negative, positive to your grounding rod, and connect it to your frame. And disconnect your battery. That's going to ground out your vehicle. If you're
Why would you
driving,
do that?
if you're driving, you're going to be stuck wherever you're at. And if people have a bike rack or whatever, put it on the back of your vehicle if your vehicle gets stranded. I think Father's going to put a wrench in everything real quick to wake the world up before the Great Tribulation starts. That's just how I see it. And I'm not saying I'm right. I just sense that something's really, he's going to shake the whole world up to give him a chance in his mercy before it starts. So
Yeah, no,
you take a copper rod. You could go to any Home Depot, tell them you want a grounding rod for your meter, for your main meter, and they'll give you a rod or whatever. It's got like a little couple of clamps on the top of it where you could run a copper wire from it. But really, all you need to do is drive it into the ground. It's probably 3 or 4 feet tall. Drive it in there as much as you can. Leave a little bit sticking out, and connect some jumper cables to it, and connect it to your frame. Then your vehicle's grounded. Now, if you're driving, no, they have those little EMP shields that you connect to your vehicle. If you're driving, your vehicle's grounded, so you'll make it home. But if you have vehicles stalled everywhere, kind of like a great reset, everything goes down, but he brings up another system. Uh, yeah, I think that's soon to be.
I would agree. And I just wanted to add more to that. What you were saying with Ezekiel's key, the 4 days after,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They could be very right.
and if they're right about that, that would lead me more to believe that they would be right about many other things.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
wow. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I had a good conversation with Christina today.
No, that's really blowing my mind right now because I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the
There's
importance
two
because
fours. There's two fours
yeah,
there, okay?
yeah,
Messiah, the door, an open door and a shut door. Okay?
exactly.
Yeah.
And there's men's posts and there's Yahuwah's posts. And
Yeah.
wow, I'm just because 4 days before the equinox
Yep.
would
And
be
then
would
4 days
be
after.
yeah, and it just
Right.
is making
Because
sense
they're
on
doing theirs 4 days. So but if you think of Jerusalem time, they're doing theirs tomorrow, trumpets, and then you're gonna have 4 days later. So trumpets comes 4 days before the equinox.
interesting. Wow.
Uh-huh.
And
And then vice
Honestly,
versa, you go back to Pesach, you got it 4 days before the equinox.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, think about it.
Oh, I have been. And that's why I felt led to listen to everything what they're presenting and saying. And,
Uh-huh. Yeah. And
you know,
it's lining up with the priest. So,
yeah, that as well. And
yeah.
I think this is why it's important for all of us to come together. And, I'm not jumping to any conclusions right now.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm just holding what we have found so far. But
Yeah.
what Ezekiel's key presents is very convincing. And it's not just because they say they have the evidence and the scriptures to back everything up as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm just like, wow, like,
Sure.
yeah,
Sure. They're having a deal tomorrow. If you didn't
yeah.
know.
No, I know.
Yeah.
No, Linda keeps me in the loop pretty
Yeah.
well.
Oh,
So,
good. Well,
and,
something to consider. Um,
yeah, definitely, definitely.
it makes
I'm
a lot of
definitely,
sense to me. I just threw in the open door and closed door because I know Mashiach's the door. For the door, the Dalit.
yeah. No, I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah. And he gives an open door and he shuts the doors that no man can open. It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My mind is being blown right now. Just thinking about that. It's like, wow, why didn't that didn't even come to my head.
Well, just in our conversation, it gets my mind going. I'm going, wait a minute. I, open door, shut door. Yeah. I just was thinking about the doors of the open door and shut door when she said it.
Yeah,
I'm going, darn it, Christina. Man, I think you're right on there.
yeah, exactly. And,
Yeah.
that's why I haven't dismissed anything anybody has said.
Yeah.
Ezekiel's key, Marissa, anybody.
Yeah.
I think they both have the right answers, and I think
Maybe they didn't
honestly,
want things shared on Jackson's um, because they were coming up next, possibly. If they're right and they know and the enemy knows they're right, he'll do everything to stop that.
wow, I didn't even think about it that way
Mm,
because they were scheduled for this Sunday to
they
present,
were.
and the
They were.
enemy does not like truth.
No, he does not.
Wow,
I know.
maybe, wow, maybe I should invite them here to
Yeah.
present.
Yeah.
I
Who
think
did
I'm
not
gonna do
like fruit? When were they scheduled to present where?
Ezekiel's Key was scheduled to present this Sunday on Jackson Snyder.
Yes.
At Jackson Snyder's?
Yep.
Wow.
And because the enemy does not like truth, he wants to stop that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wow, I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can come on with us instead. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna talk to Linda and see if they would be willing to come here and present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take up the torch of Jackson there and just allow others to be able to present their findings here.
Yeah. Now be careful. We don't want you going anywhere, Jeremy.
You
No,
don't
no.
have a Zoom, Jeremy.
I don't, but we have Telegram here.
Well, Christina does not have Telegram,
No, I know that.
and she won't use that. So, and I think Zoom is not a safe place. There's another one. Let me see. I've got the app on here. I'll tell you what it is, and it seems to be a better encryption and not owned by Bill Gates.
Yeah. Anything owned by Billy Gates of hell, watch out for.
Yeah, for real. It's called Zoho meeting.
What's this?
ZOHO meeting. It's kind of like Zoom.
Do you
Okay,
have to pay
somebody
for
had.
it?
I don't know. I mean, I've got on there and had a couple of discussions with another lady up in Wyoming on ancient Paleo Hebrew, and they'll only use that. They won't use Zoom. They don't like it. They see discrepancies where people can get in and stuff like that and listen to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which one do they use?
Zoho meeting, ZOHO meeting.
Would you be able to share a link to that? And I'll go check it
Yeah,
out.
let me share the app, but it's going to be for an iPhone. So if you have an Android, that won't work. But at least you can look at it and then do what you need to do with whatever platform you're using. So yeah, hang on just a minute.
No, thank you. 'Cause I'll take a look at that. And I would have
Yeah.
a Zoom, but they make you pay for if you want to present longer than an hour or 30 minutes or something like. I think they only allow you 30 minutes to an hour for the
Right.
free. You have to pay for the service to, go on continually.
Jeremy, do you know if Ezekiel T has a group?
Yeah, yeah. They have several groups. I would reach out to Linda. She's here in our chat. It's not my group to invite, and I do know
She's
that.
on Telegram, you said?
Well, she's
No,
here in our Telegram, yes, but they have a Zoom meeting group, and they also have a YouTube channel, Ezekiel's Key as well.
I know. I'm not really familiar with I'm
with
gonna go
if you
here.
go to their channel, I'll tell you
Yeah.
this: if you go to their channel, you're only going to see 2 videos there because it's unlisted. It's a private channel. It's not public. Certain things are not public. Well, I'll say no. You could go to Ezekiel's Key. I'm sorry, but the one that hosts it, Ray. If you go to his YouTube channel, you're on everything is broadcast. That is unlisted, is not published openly. So there's private meetings and there's ones that they share on Ezekiel's Key, which you can see.
Okay, so how does one get into their group so you can get familiar with?
Um,
Yeah,
well, I mean, the Shabbat meetings are closed to the public, um, which are on Mondays. But I don't know. I don't make those decisions.
Are you part of the group, Lee?
I am.
Okay, that's why you know. Okay, how okay,
But you can always
how
go to Ezekiel's Key and watch their videos.
I understand, but what if you want to be more familiar with what's going on? And I'm sure
yeah.
you just said that.
I, I
They're
would
not close.
I would reach
I
out
would
to
ask one of the members there about
yeah.
that.
You said
You can
Linda, right?
yeah,
Excuse me?
you can reach out to Linda is her name in our group chat here, or if you go to their channel, and I'm sure if
I
you
don't.
comment,
Okay,
yeah, I'm sure
yeah,
if you
because I
comment
don't
on the
see Linda here
here, let me
right
get their
now.
channel.
I found the channel. I found the channel.
Oh,
I thought I didn't when Lee said that they only have a couple of videos, but then he said that it's a different.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
So
the
they
Ezekiel.
have
Yeah.
channels. One is Ezekiel's Key, and another it's it goes by another name. It's just one of the brothers' names. But they have a
We.
lot of videos on there, but they're
Yeah.
private videos, meaning you can only watch them if you have the link to them.
Okay. Okay. I'll reach out to one of them.
Yeah. Message Linda.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not sure
I'm
how
sure.
to see the members
Yeah.
here in our group.
Oh, if you go on the top where it says Yahuah Calendar
Okay,
Fellowship.
I got it. Yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
Awesome.
Lisa Ambrose? Yes. Oh, no,
No.
Linda.
Yeah, Linda.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. Linda
Linda.
Marcy?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, good. I'll text her. I'll
Yeah. You
message her.
know, feel free to reach out. You know, she's very humble, and you know, I don't want to
Yeah,
send group invites to their group because it's not my group. That so.
yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah.
No, I understand. Yeah, I just want to get familiar with what they're saying. I honestly don't know any of the things they're saying, so I want to study that too. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. And I know they're very willing to have people come in and listen, and they're just very picky on who they do allow in their group, and I completely understand why.
Yeah. You gotta filter a little bit. We don't get chaos, but
Yeah,
yeah. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Jeremy.
Hey, you're more than welcome, but yeah, you'll have to get permission from them. That's not my
Yeah,
plan.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that 4 days after is really still blowing my mind, and
Yes.
you know, I
And
kind of
then
want
that
to fast
makes
forward.
8-2. That makes 8-2 a completion.
Yeah,
But
it
shimmy
does.
out the red. Shimmy out the red. Will you stay with me another day?
Wow.
Like on Tabernacles.
Yep.
Yeah. Will you stay with me another day?
Because
Yeah.
yeah, no, it just totally makes sense, and wow.
And
So
that,
yeah, you know, there's
8 is a completion. And
that
there,
four.
or infinity. How's that? Just like the sun's translate,
the
Jeremy.
the sun the sun's analemma, yes.
And 11. There we go. I got it. Yeah.
The moon
Yeah,
has one too,
that
and it does it each month instead
yeah,
of a year.
that's a figure 8. So, and
Yep.
that means a completion. So, yeah, pretty
Wow.
pretty interesting.
Definitely fascinating, and you know, this just shows the importance how, you know, we should be coming together and reasoning together.
Yeah.
And you know, I know they're doing readings through Ezekiel, like the entirety of the book of Ezekiel. Those links, some of the links I shared go to those videos, but those videos are unlisted, so you'd have to have the link to watch them. But I did share a few of them above here in our chat, and they were going over Ezekiel 8, and it was pretty fascinating, all the information they found there.
Are you also part of the group, Jeremy?
Yeah. No,
Oh, okay.
they invited me, and you know, I don't even know how we met, but somehow we met, and you know, we both just want to come together and be able to reason together. And I think that
Yes.
was really
Who's
the key foundation. And, you know, they
who's the
invited me to
who formed the group?
that.
Who's the
I believe it was Linda and a brother, and that brother's wife was like the
okay.
original founding members, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember correct. They kind of
Okay.
explained it the other day, and it just started out the three of them, and then Now
It
there's,
grew. It grew from there.
yeah.
I just saw that they have videos on. That's why I don't know. It's like since I don't see their broadcasting or everything, just going back 2 months ago on YouTube. Sorry, and I don't know if they've been getting together for longer than that. So, I'll look into it and see that maybe I can see them more of the
They,
videos they have done.
they
Yeah.
actually recently got together, and they said a lot of it was from when they read my article. And I was like, wow, no way. But yeah, they were actually doing the same exact things we are. And there's only one difference though, and they celebrate their Sabbath on Monday this year. And that's because they believe the equinox is what Enoch 72:32 is describing. And it's not that it's equal day and night, like time-wise here in a specific area on Earth, but on the equinox itself, that day, Earth itself is equally light and dark. And I'd never thought of it from that position either. So, they have really good points. They have a lot of scriptures. They have a whole bunch of, evidence and things to back up what they say as well.
So
And
when does the week start? The counting of the month starts after the equinox.
yeah,
That's
so
why their Sabbath is on Monday.
correct. So
Okay.
they do the same exact thing we do.
Mm-hmm.
They have the divider day after the last Sabbath of the year,
Mm-hmm.
and then, but they say the equinox is going to be on day 3,
Mm-hmm.
and then day 4 will be the head of the month, which would be the day after the equinox.
Okay.
Be,
Okay.
yeah. Be ready
So
for
yeah,
the
counting.
third day.
Yeah,
Be ready for
the
the third day.
counting of the month. It's almost
Yeah,
like equinox is the 91 day of the previous season. Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah. Somehow like that.
Yeah. So basically, kind of what Lee just brought up too is, so there's the 4 days before the equinox, and then there's the 4 days after the equinox in the fall,
Mm-hmm.
because it would be opposite in the fall that it is in the spring.
Okay.
And
I mean the 4th day reaching the Sabbath and the 4th day
no,
before after the equinox. Huh?
yeah. So like,
Okay, the
so
4th day
basically,
before the fall equinox is the Sabbath. Before the fall equinox and after the spring equinox. Yeah.
yeah, I
Thank
Okay.
you.
think.
I'll have to watch
Don't
some
quote me.
videos. I'm trying to grasp the concept.
Uh,
Okay, I'll watch it. Thanks.
Honestly, I'm still learning all that myself, but
Yeah.
and yeah, Kayleen, yeah, that's what we have found is the equinox is the first day of the year, and I just wanted to present that because they have very interesting information,
Yeah.
and what they present, it makes a whole lot of sense. And
Yeah.
so, like I said before, right now, until I've definitely studied further into it, we're going to stick with the dates that we have found. And until, Yahuah tells me otherwise, and I have learned more, because right now I'm just learning still. I want to see
Yeah.
all sides and aspects, before I just quickly jump into making a decision or, confirming my choice, I guess it is. But, I want Yahuah to lead all of that as well, and not just rush into things. So
Yeah, you don't want to be blown by every wind. Yeah, you gotta be settled. It's the way.
correct.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's the way things to do, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I find anything else, I will definitely be letting everybody here know because, I think it's important and it's definitely important for us all to come together and work these things out.
Hey, Jeremy.
Right now, what's solid for me is the menorah right now, and that fourth branch is the strongest straight. Why do I keep saying strongest? Straightest branch, and it makes sense. Also, that would be the straight line shadow. So there's just a whole lot of things I'm looking into at the moment. So I'm sticking to what we have right now until further evidence shows us otherwise.
Amen. Okay.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking today? You really want to hear?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. If you look at 364 days, which we know it is, within a year, it looks like when the door is shut, that 4 is taken away and they go back to 360 during a great tribulation. The 4 is taken away from them because the door is shut. And you go back, as in the days of Noah, so will the coming of the Son of Man be. So, and we know that Noah and the flood happened 150 days. We see in Revelation where the beings are going around torturing people for 5 months. We know those are 30 days, months. So when the door is shut and is the 4 taken away and you go back to 360 as in the days of Noah, when the flood happened. Now remember, he goes after the woman. He can't get the woman. It's like a flood that comes out of their mouth. After the woman, he can't get the woman. But he goes after the woman's seed. Is that the ones that come out of the great tribulation and wash their robes in white? Possibly. Possibly. Because we see the 1,260 days, the 1290 in Daniel. Those are 30-day months. So when a door is shut, is a 4 taken away and you go back to 360? Just a thought.
I have another thought on that, and that is that the Father gave us how to count. And he
Correct.
said to throw out those 4 days. So prophetic years are 360 with those days thrown out.
Correct.
That's a thought too. And I
Yep.
don't know if he's going to take those seasonal divider days out entirely, but it appears to me that everybody's looking for some climactic event to happen, and then we'll know, because we'll be back to 360-day years, and I'm considering that those that he's shown the book of Enoch to and the book of Jubilees to will understand that he was talking about prophetic years. It's not a separate count. It's just you're only counting the days of the months each month. That's my thought. So
Okay.
everybody's looking for a fantastic thing, and no, it's going to come as a thief in the night, because people are looking for something else.
Sure. Sure. And a full circle is 360 degrees. If you really do some study into it, and I understand where Andy's coming about the 3.14, you got the pi symbol at the top of the north of the circle, kind of like the tabernacle. And 3.14 is the day before Shabbat. It's the 3rd month, the 15th day of the 3rd month, but you got 3.14. That's the 14th day of the 3rd month. And then the next day is 3.15. It's like a break before it starts again on a circle. That's also another interesting thing.
Yeah, see, there's so many different angles and perspectives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad that we can all speak out and nobody's arguing with anybody or telling them they're wrong or they're stupid or something.
Absolutely. That is what we should not be doing. We should all be able to come together, reason, not be afraid to speak up for fear of being made fun of or called names.
Well, I appreciate y'all not bashing me.
Good,
and
good day, family.
I'm so used to it that I don't really care.
Hey, shalom,
Good day, Shabbat
brother.
Shalom.
Shabbat
Hey, Shabbat
shalom.
shalom, brother. Hag
Shabbat
Shema,
shalom.
Yom Teruah.
Shabbat shalom.
No, we truly appreciate you here, Brother Lee.
Oh man, I just I can only give my 2 cents for what it's worth.
That's the only thing we can all do.
Yeah. I'm just what if.
But
I'm one of those, okay, well, what if it's like this and not like this?
yeah,
Because I
I
look at it in different angles.
no, I'm just like that right now as well. Because what if?
Uh-huh.
Just like you said,
Yeah.
what if? And
What if?
yeah, it's just there. I think it's very imperative we all come together, and um, I think us, Ezekiel's Key, Marissa, we all need to come together and just bring out all these, amazing points because, we're all very, very close. Literally. Right now, we are just a day off from them, and both of them are on the exact same days. So, we're all very, very close. And if we can all just come together, and every side has some very good points. And that's what makes, studying it out so difficult because it's like, wow, well, there's this point, but then there's this point, but then there's that point as well. And it's like, man,
Now, Jerry did a teaching a long time ago, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. But he came up with the 1,335th day as Shavuot. It's interesting.
yeah, wow. You're giving me too much to think about, brother.
Well, good. I don't want you to get bored.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's definitely no reason to be bored with all this to study.
I'm just glad nobody thinks like I think, because my mind just runs.
So does mine.
You don't want to get in my head.
Uh, I would say the same thing.
Oh man. Yeah.
But no, it's important to come together for sure. And yeah, Jerry Morris, he had a lot of great information. And yeah, I actually thought you were him when we first met, Lee.
Well, his YouTube. I left his YouTube account still up. I never took it down. And I never did open a YouTube account myself. So when I log into places, it says Jerry Moore. So I'm not trying to imitate Jerry. Okay, I'm not trying to act like I'm him. I just never did open another YouTube account.
Yeah,
I
no worries.
just don't care about that. And just like the guy, what's his name in Nevada? The guy that makes the beads
Oh,
on
Jimmy.
TikTok. Jimmy, yeah.
Yeah,
He said, "Are you trying to impersonate Jerry?" And I had to explain to him because he thought that too. Because he used to watch his videos way back when too, and we just laid a foundation, and other
yeah,
people
no.
built upon the foundation. And my gosh, we were studying back in 2011, and I got the book of Enoch. I said, Jerry, there's a calendar in here. And then that's when all the fussing and fighting, we were doing Sliver Moon, blowing the shofar. Hey, do you see it? Do you see it? Going through all that stuff. And but there was just a lot of fussing and forcefulness with that Sliver Moon stuff. And I got tired of it and I left. And then finally, I stayed home when Jerry was still going to Shabbat over there at Sally and Jerry Babbitt's. Not sure you know them, um, but yeah, he finally came here and we started studying together in 2011. And then,
Yeah.
like I say, we would type in the word Zadok. There was nothing. You could type in Zadok on Google. I don't care where you went, Bing, whatever. There was only one thing that came up, and it was the Queen of it, something to do with the Queen of England. Now look at it.
Yeah, no,
It's a
I
total
found
train
the same
wreck.
song.
It's a
Yeah.
total train wreck. First, it started with Enoch calendars, then Zadok calendars, and
Yep.
it's like, oh, what a mess.
And that's the thing too, is I was reaching out to Brother Jimmy, and I think his information is important as well because he also tracks the equinoxes and solstices, and he has a lot of scriptural foundation as well.
Yeah.
So he mostly works through TikTok though.
Yeah.
I know he has a YouTube channel as well, but it's mostly through TikTok. So I'm actually planning on joining him for Sukkot this year because he's the exact same dates we are, and where he's having Sukkot is only 2 hours from me, so
Oh,
really close.
awesome.
So I was thinking about speaking to him there and just explaining like, hey, we'd love to have you join in some Zoom or Telegram meetings so we can all come together and just figure this thing out.
Yeah.
And yeah, we kind of had a falling out because of the disagreement about the little season. And
I'm not sold on that one either. So
no, I get it,
I'm
and I
just
understand
not.
that. I
I mean,
understand that,
I do see
and
in there this generation will not. I see all that. Okay, that's fine. But I know history repeats itself too.
yeah, exactly. So
So I'm in between that.
again, I'm not like 100% solid on that. I definitely see it,
Sure.
and that's why I say, regardless, time is very short, and it's not something to divide over. And I reached out to him and made amends, and we're still family in Yahuah. We all still have very, very similar thoughts, ideas, all these things. And it's Ambassadors of Yah on TikTok, and it's Yah's Ambassadors on YouTube. I can go try. Let me go get his channel, and I could share it here. Yeah, thank you, Sister Jermaine. Let me go and try to get a link to his channel.
Hey, Jeremy, I do have a question as to wanting to know what you think about the ladies. We watched Ezekiel's key video yesterday for our trumpets. We watched a few things, but anyway, sorry. So we watched it, and there was the map that they had on the wall. They had Australia with a line that went down the center, like right through the guts of Australia. And so they called that the West. We were where I live on the eastern side. They said that we were the West quadrant. Oh, Drew, do you remember what they called that quarter? It was like not abandoned.
Yeah,
Started with a D. Do you remember, Lee?
yes, yes.
Diminished.
That is
Diminished.
diminished, but it's your third quarter. It's divided
Third
into
quarter.
4. It's
Yes.
divided into the third quarter.
Yeah.
Or
So
yeah,
it was called the West, and it was the land of the diminished, or the area of the diminished, or something. But I read
you
through the
better get
comments
out of
on.
there. You better get out of there,
Well,
Jermaine.
the reason. Well, who knows if they're right or not? I don't know. But the court. Hang on. So I was reading in the comments, and there was a person, I think, from Australia who said something about our timeline, and the ladies believe that even though, say, okay, right now, this very minute, it's 6:30 a.m. Friday morning, which means we're going forward. We're in front of the time of, let's say, you guys or Jerusalem, and they've said we are actually the last. So we're, on man's timeline, we've been put before Jerusalem, but in fact, in their eyes, in their facts, whatever, we're actually at the end. So we go behind you. So it's really very confusing. But yeah, does anyone have any thoughts on Australia's timeline actually being pretty swift? And here's my major confusion is, she's drawn the line down the guts of Australia. So we live on the eastern side, which sees the sun rise first. And then Avit, our friend who's also in here, he lives on the western side at this present time, and he's always 2 hours behind us. Like you guys have got different time zones. We also have different time zones. Yeah, it's really confusing. Like the western side, apparently their time would be before us. Anyway, I just don't get it. Anyone got any thoughts on the time zone?
Something to consider, because I've considered some of that stuff before, is if possible, where could it be discerned? Did Yah place the sun in the first place? That might be the starting point.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we
Well,
don't know.
we know it rises in the east and sets in the west.
Yeah, well, who's in the west and who's in the east?
Well, the scripture does say. The scripture does say, from their perspective, the east is east of Israel. So we have that at least.
Yeah, that was my thinking.
Yeah, interesting.
And so we ourselves would be the east of Israel. Is that correct? On the map?
On the Gleason map?
Yeah. Yeah, on the Gleason map, yeah. Yeah, that's a very good question, honestly. And
I have a random question for you guys. I don't know if you saw it the other night or day, but I posted something about 25 years of data from Qumran, of the equinox data, and every other year I found out that the equinox mirrors itself. So in other words, the equinox in March, it's mirrored in the fall equinox. So it goes something like 11:59, 12:01, and then 12:03. These are the numbers that you use to measure the equinox. So 11:59 is before the equinox, 12:01 is the equinox, and 12:03 is the next day. But in the fall equinox, it goes 12:03, 12:01, and then 11:59. Every other year, it exactly mirrors the equinox. that makes sense. And then not just that. I don't know for certain, but every 2 years it seems to change from the 17th being the equinox to the 18th being the equinox. And I'm not saying that for certain, but there is indeed a pattern.
Yeah, we were kind discussing that as well. Um, there's so many things to look into right now. This is exactly why I'm not quick to change stances at the moment. I'm studying this all out. All the information we found, all of us together, and just all this new information. It's a lot to try to study out and to try to make sense of. And I'm diligently studying it all out, and I truly believe we all need to come together, like all of us. Ezekiel's Key, Marissa, us, Jimmy, and Ambassadors of Yah. And yeah, there's that pattern as well there, brother. There's so many things, and I can say for sure we are all very, very, very close. I know that for sure.
Jeremy, what I like about your calendar is that based on what you have shared in the original calendar that you shared with us, is that you seem to have the Dead Sea Scrolls backing up your position. And I'm not in disagreement with that. The thing that has, we'll say, the thing that is challenging about it is there are differing opinions. And I know we all want to be on the right calendar and be keeping the Sabbath on the right days, etc. But something that keeps coming to mind is April Fools. And I say that because, again, knowing the enemy, it would not surprise me if the real crucifixion day was on April Fool's or the day after he died or something like that, which would obviously be a mockery of the Messiah, but it could point to a very key and pertinent day that would lock the calendar in completely.
Yeah, and just like that's what we found with what is it? What do they call it? St. Patty's Day. It's March 17th every year. And that's day one, week of creation that we had found. So there's all these connections. Yeah, no, I agree.
Based on what I've seen, I believe for certain March 17th is indeed what's called day one of creation.
Yeah. And that's what we have found. But like I said, and
I was
actually
just going to say, the
go ahead,
ladies
sis.
said, sorry, the ladies were saying yesterday when I was watching this video that they don't agree that there is an equinox at all, like it's all man-made. So that was interesting as well. So they're still putting their 0 day on that particular day that isn't even an equinox. Is that right?
Well, their day out of time will be the day after ours, or their divider day, because their last Sabbath would be the day after ours. So they still have the divider day, day out of time.
That would be on
It's
March 17th.
for them. It's March 18th. So they're a day ahead of what we have, basically, and that's because of that small difference about the equinox itself. And so basically, what they present is on the equinox, it's half the Earth itself is dark and light. Not that, because we know the equinox here on Earth would be, when there's equal day and equal night, and it will vary depending on your location. But what they're saying is because Enoch was taken up to Yahuwah's position, which I definitely agree with, And so he was looking down on the earth and saw that it was half dark and half light on the equinox day from that position where Yahuah is. And it was making sense to me. So, and I'm not trying to cause confusion or anything here. I'm just letting you know what I've been studying it out. And it's important that we study these things out. And, you know, like I said, we're just going to stick with what we have for right now until further evidence is given, basically. Because I just don't want to quickly jump to, you know, every shifting wind of doctrine. And it's like, oh, well, that sounds good. I'm going to go that way. Well, we should have scriptures as our foundation. And I just want to consider all angles and all aspects and everything everyone has found. And, you know, we all believe in the Zadok calendar. We all agree Jubilees, Enoch, the Dead Sea Scrolls, they matter a lot. And we're all on the same page about everything. It's just these small differences is all. And that's
Yes.
why I'm encouraging us to just come together to be able to, you know, work these things out in love, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Jermaine,
Regarding,
I have, okay, it's okay. Don't worry, go ahead. I'll ask you after that. I have a question for you.
I was just going to say to Jeremy too, like before we started keeping this particular calendar and appointed times, which we've been doing for 2 years, but the year coming up to that, we took our time in deciding. We kind of kept putting the situation aside because, you know, it was just too hard, but we kept jumping back in between the two different parties. So there was the Aaron from Remnant of the Light who is on this particular one we're on now, and then there was Nick Vanderlaan who had the day after as well. So we always knew that there was this divide, that there was this split in belief. So we're not this isn't a new theory for us. We've always known it's been there. But yeah, I think it was the menorah that helped us to decide. Not that we got right into the we didn't get right into the scriptures of stuff, but we could see what she was saying more so than what he was saying. And I mean, we were still, you know, fresh and new to it. So, but yeah, we're not closed either, because like I was saying to Lee on the phone yesterday, the reason why we are where we are is because we're very open to anything really, but we're also not fast to decide. Look, heck, it took us a year to even go, okay, this is it, we're doing it, you know. It took us a whole year. We're slow. So, you know, if the other way is correct, then I mean he will allow us to see, and we're praying about it. But yes, like Jeremy said, at this particular stage, yeah, we are where we are, and we're not going to be jumping ship very quickly. We'd have to need solid evidence, because we think it's a serious matter to be, you know, walking out his commands to the best of our ability and knowledge. And yeah, okay, sorry, yes. What was the question? Was it?
Jermaine, I wanted to ask you. You spoke about a video you watched yesterday, or you were in a meeting yesterday.
Yeah.
Are you still part of the group? I'm trying to understand if we can watch the same thing, or we have to be part of the group in order.
No. It's on YouTube. It's Ezekiel's Key YouTube.
Oh, it's online.
And
okay, yeah, because
I can share the link in the chat
I
if you
found
like.
that I didn't know if you're part of the group, and it's only you that can see that, or the people that are in the group.
Everyone can.
Okay,
no, everyone can. And
Thank
the
you.
video was called finding the first day of the year or something like that.
Yeah, the one I shared.
Yeah, maybe. Sorry, I'm not looking in the chat. I'm actually starting to get ready to go and milk the goats, so I'm going to be quiet.
Yeah, no worries. And you know, honestly, the menorah is a big one for me as well, and because there is that evidence too. You know, the menorah, the fourth branch, longest, straightest branch. It only makes sense that it's that straight line shadow. So yeah, you know, you can see how it can become. I don't want to say confusing, 'cause it's not confusing, but it's torn more like, you know, like, well, what if, which way is right? And we're just all so close that we truly need to come together. And yeah, Aaron Ryan has the same dates, same method as we do. You know, I'd love.
Sorry,
Oh, go
the
ahead.
other option for the counting of the menorah, like, you know, she has seen it as being a counting of days of the week, but it may not even be that. It might even be the counting of the feast, because there's those 7 feasts, and that straight line, fourth one, is Shavuot. That is the giving of the commands. That is the eternal covenant. So there's that.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah, so much to consider, you know. And all I know is we are all very, very, very close. And the more we are able to come together and discuss these things without hate or vitriol, things like that, you know, the more we will be able to learn together, honestly. And yeah, we're all just really close. It would be great to have, you know, Aaron Ryan there as well, but I know she doesn't like going to other groups and she's very hard to work with, but you know, I'm not holding that against her. It's just it kind of puts it prevents us from, you know, wanting to have her there because I know she already doesn't agree about the shape of the earth and things like that. So, and it
Well,
seems
she
that
did.
that's
Sorry,
go ahead.
She did do a video with Ezekiel's key not that long ago that we watched, and they don't believe that we're on a globe, and they're the day after her, and them together were able to speak quite well. So yeah, it's just a
That is
matter
true.
of finding that sweet point, you know.
Maybe I'll have to reach out to her as well. We'll have to find some kind of platform that works for all of our groups, you know? Because honestly, I would love for us all just to come together and just, you know, say, hey, you know, this is what I found, or hey, this is what I found, and just, you know, work it out from there. Very fascinating information, though, and from all sides, honestly. So that's why right now we are just sticking with what we have found so far, with all the evidence we have found so far as well. So we will still be meeting Sundays this year until further notice. Yeah, and you know, and if anybody here has information they found, you know, please don't be afraid to share or speak up. You know, we appreciate everybody's input and information.
be honest with you, I think we need to start looking at the stars and trying to find out where the stars are, and or what would be considered the planets, in certain positions in regards to the equinox, etc. Once we can lock in where they are and see a consistent pattern, then I think we can discover for sure the calendar and know for certain that that's what it is.
I agree. I definitely agree. Because I did find those stars and those two added leaders. Those are the only two stars that do that I can find, and it
Hey,
repeats
Lee.
year after year.
Lee, I think
Yes,
it's
sir.
you. I watched a video of yours, I believe it was, where you were recording. It was either the sun rising and or the sun setting of the moon with the sun or something like that.
Yes,
Was that you?
that was me.
And what is it? Is it the moon that sets with the sun or rises with the sun? And is it before the equinox or after? Can you explain that?
You have to do the moon first because the sun knows it's going down. So one day, like the moon, when it comes up, the next day you'll do the sun setting. And I have witnessed, not just on that video, but other ones, because I messed up on the Zoom, and then and the Zoom got messed up on the camera, so it looks like the other's smaller. But I redid that. I didn't put another video up, but you can see where the moon comes out of a certain gate when it rises, and then do a video of the moon setting in where that sets. And so I would take my tripod and leave it setting just how it is, not moving the legs in any kind of way, and then load it up and take it out to, or mark my spots with spray paint so I could set my legs the same spot as where I was. So I could tell that when the moon came up, the sun came up in the same position. And the moon, when the moon set, it set in the same position as the sun set the next day. Does that help?
I think we need to look at that as a group. That's very important information. And is that on the equinox or?
That is on the equinox. Correct. So you'll have to do the moon the day before. Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
And they're both on the equal distance from each other. Okay. Like when the moon comes up, or the sun comes up, the moon will be setting. Okay. So you have to do your moon rising first. Okay. And then you have to do the next morning where your sun's rising, but your moon will set and then your sun will set in that same gate. But they are totally, when the sun is coming up that equinox and that moon is setting, they are totally equal with each other. Okay. Does that make
Equal?
sense?
What is that? No, what does totally equal mean?
Like if you're looking at the sun coming up the next morning, okay, and you've already taken your shot of the moon coming up, then if you look at the moon and the sun, they will be equally opposite of each other. Okay, so
So
as
opposite, the
the
opposite direction.
yeah, correct.
Oh, okay.
So the sun will be at a certain position and the moon will be setting at a certain position, like an equal line across. Um,
On the circuit of heaven. Or
correct.
okay. Like a
So as
diagonal, you would
setting,
say.
sun's coming up, but yet they're diagonal across. They're both at that same position at that certain time. So as the sun is coming up and it's fully on the horizon or halfway up, whatever, the moon is in the same position on the other side in the west. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And that is the part that is mentioned as equal night and equal day because they are on the opposite direction on the arc of the circle. That would make it, according to Enoch, equal night and equal day because they cover each one of them.
You're not
One
going to always
half.
have like a full moon, or you might have a half a moon or whatever. It's not going to be the same every year. It just don't work.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The moon always comes up different each year.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's why I
so,
want to understand because it's going to be different. But I don't
Yep.
know exactly what they're saying, so that's why it's just go by the position, not by the light of the moon.
yeah, correct.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Because in
Yeah,
all my studies,
it's interesting. Go out and try it sometime. It's fun to do.
yeah. And in all my studies and everything I've looked at, the sun and the stars are always in the same position every single year, year after year. The things that are not is the moon and what we call planets or the wandering stars. Those are the things that change each year. And that just gives more credence to me of Enoch and Wisdom of Solomon and so many other verses that speak about it's the sun and the stars bringing in the year. And the moon is a witness, yes. But it's not going to be like the same phase, the same thing like that. It's just when it's rising and setting in that same gate as the sun. And then when it's a full moon, it's going to be opposite the sun in its position. So that Mazarah sign behind it is going to also witness to which month we are in and also the season, because the Mazarahs have to do with the seasons as well.
Hey, one more question, por favor. Did you notice that when the sun and moon were doing its thing that you were mentioning, was it a full moon, dark moon, sliver, or does it matter?
The moon's not going to be the same every year. It's not going to be a full moon every year when it does it. No, it won't work. Now, the one I did, it was pretty full. The moon was pretty full. Yeah.
Sir?
But that doesn't happen every year on an equinox. You're not always going to have a full moon on an equinox. Doesn't work.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work.
Mm-mm.
It does not.
It just happened to be almost full, you could pretty much say, the time that I did that on that video. And there's other ones that, we did also. So,
Yeah,
but
very interesting.
that's almost about the time that Jerry passed. So I didn't continue at that point. I had other things that were more important at that point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so many things.
Question.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, hi, everybody.
Jill.
Yeah, so my question is, this was a point brought out to me by my mom, and I'm not sure if it's already been answered, but this year on the equinox, that's when they start their month for lunar Sabbath keepers. So all of theirs would be based off of the fall equinox, which is on the 22nd for our area, for where we live. Sorry, it's been a long day, but I was just trying to see, with today being the first day and where we are on the calendar, should it have lined up with, I don't use Google, but that was one of the points made to me and I didn't know how to answer it.
So, are you talking about like when Google says it happens.
Yeah, so Google saying, I put that in quotations.
Yeah,
Google saying it's on the
exactly.
22nd, but I'm like, that's not valid. But she's like, for her, that's a huge confirmation that they're doing it right.
So, what I would recommend is the closest thing you're going to find online is actually the U.S. Naval Tracking site, because, between time and date and all those different websites, they're even going to have different dates for when they say it is. Like, they don't even agree. Different dates, different times, all that. So, um, maybe, maybe just pull up these different sites and show like, hey, look, this one's saying it's this day, but then this one's saying it's that day. What do you take of that? And honestly, I think tracking it ourselves is the best way. The U.S. Naval Tracker site is probably the closest we're going to get, because, if they were off at all, ships would get lost at sea, airplanes, you name it, they would just get lost. So they have to be pretty accurate to do it. And, they track the equinox as always on March 20th on the U.S. Naval Tracker site. And that's actually exactly what Sister Erin Ryan has got. Alan Pizarak, I think you as well, Brother Lee, right? It's
Yeah.
usually the 20th of March.
Yep.
And
Correct.
I know, yeah, time and date will say, oh, it's the 21st, or it'll be the 22nd, or what have you this year. And
We'll be
it's
in
really
20.
not.
We'll be in
Yeah.
2000.
So, really my recommendation would just really show the different sites and how they all have discrepancies in their data and don't even agree with each other.
Thank you. That's extremely helpful. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem.
I've got a theory that we worked out years ago, and I can kind of see it. We all agree that Noah was on a 360, correct?
Perhaps. I'm still thinking about that
Okay.
one.
I think Noah, and I was sitting down with some people studying years ago, and it made a lot of sense. Not saying it's true, but in Noah's time, it looks like he started his beginning in the fall. And that's why he comes along and says, Moshe, this is the beginning of months for you. So something changed. Just a thought.
What did he point out that said it pointed to fall? Do you remember?
I will have to go back and look and see if I can find the things we were writing down. I will have to dig that out, but we did a big study on that. And it seemed to be that way.
Interesting, because in everything I've read, and even in Enoch chapter 82, he's speaking about the spring being the beginning of everything. Like, that's the head of the year right there in the spring.
For what reason it was, I'll have to find that. I'm just speaking too quickly, okay, on
Yeah,
that.
no,
I'll have to go back and bring that up, and then maybe
yeah,
we can put something together.
yeah, for sure. No, please feel free to share your findings.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of good information, honestly, and I just love being able to come together and talk about it too without fighting or arguing, and that's the most important thing. That we all are searching for that truth, and I know we all have scriptures as our foundation, And we only want to do what Yahuah says is right. So, sometimes it takes us all coming together and just, hashing it all out, talking about it, of course, in love and compassion and humbleness. And I believe if we keep on this track, we will get closer and closer. But yeah, we're coming up on 4 hours here. Praise Yah. It's been an amazing fellowship. I was thinking about ending it there unless anybody has any other questions or anything else they'd like to bring up before we end it.
No, I was going to say Shalom. I've got another meeting to go to, so yeah. Thank
There we
you.
go.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you
Shalom.
for coming, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, brotherly.
We're all trying to figure it out. I don't think we're there yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as we're able to keep coming together.
Yes.
Awesome. All praise to the Most High. I love each and every one of you.
Shalom.
I'm so thankful to Yahuah for our fellowship here and just bringing us all together. And I pray you all have a blessed rest of your Yom Teruah, and we will be meeting again this Sunday for sure. But yeah, shalom and blessings, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank
Shalom
you.
to all of you.
Absolutely.
Shalom.
And
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
shalom.